Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is having a fantastic day, or night, or evening, or something else, whatever you are having, wherever in the world you are. Today, I want to welcome you to the greatest show on earth. And yes, David, what's up?
Yo, hey, how you doing? Hey, you know it's weird?
What?
I've done like a million things this past week, and we were just live, like what, last Sunday?
Yes.
I've done so many things this past week, it feels like 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's how it always feels to me.
It feels like 2 months ago that we were live.
To me, whenever it's evening from the morning, it feels like it was 2 months ago. That's how it works for me, like personally. That's how messed up my perception of time is.
That's what crack does to people.
Yeah. It does. I mean, I just anyway, what's up, everybody? Hello and welcome. Today we are going to have a fantastic show. David, did you watch the whole debate by Mohammed Hijab and Rabbi Shmuley on Piers Morgan?
I didn't watch it, but I listened to it. I listened to the whole thing.
You didn't watch it? Shame on you.
Listening to it. So I missed all the cool facial expressions and stuff.
Oh, you will have lots of fun. Speaking of facial expressions, here we have this guy here with his facial expressions.
That's the face of a man who got his way, which is Hijab's main goal. I mean, apart from attention.
Yeah,
that's his reaction to Piers originally said controversial. Controversial. Why don't you say I'm Oxford? Why don't you say I'm Oxford? And then Piers does it for the next show, and Hijab. That's the face of a man who's getting his way.
What did you think of the debate?
I had only up until just today when I listened to the entire thing, based on the Twitter reactions, I assumed that Hijab manhandled him, and then when I actually listened to it, it didn't seem that. I mean, it was kind of a disaster in terms of not making a lot of progress. Just insults flying back and forth and shouting over each other and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say Rabbi Shmuley was holding his own against Hijab as far as the antics and so on.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was just shouting, but it got really bizarre. It got really
it got creepy in a way that I can't think of another person besides Mohammed Hijab, besides some random pervert you might find on the street, would go in some of the directions that Hijab went.
Yeah, and it's funny because you and I both have a history with Mohammed Hijab, right? And we both experienced the kind of things that he says, the stuff that comes to that guy's mind. I mean, I made a huge video compiling all kinds of weird things he said, but even I was surprised at some of the stuff that he said when I listened to the debate.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that there are still people who don't know how to counteract that, right? Because he started doing, he started pulling those stunts with us, and we know how to respond, and he stopped that stuff with us.
Yeah,
but then he goes on to other people. Now, what's going to happen long term is he's just going to keep doing this, running around until everyone knows how to react, and then that's not going to work anymore.
What's funny is during the whole show, it was like he was acting in such a childish way, and the rabbi was basically like responding to him in that way as well. Where Piers in the end just looked like the reasonable guy, like a teacher who is, representing these two little kids who just can't behave. He's like, guys, please calm down. Stop it already. I don't know. It was so funny. Do you want to start?
Yeah.
You want to start?
Yeah, let's go.
You do?
Let's do some improvisational comedy now.
The comedy will do itself.
Okay. Israel at war, the uncensored debate. Mohammed Hijab is a Muslim philosopher, scholar, and YouTuber. Who's 8 million people.
He's a philosopher king and the future caliph.
Has been called the most famous rabbi in America. He's the international best-selling author of Kosher Hate and The Israel Warrior. Both men are passionate, both men are influential, and they both have vehemently
passionate.
Why did you not mention?
Why don't you call me genius?
Yeah, why didn't he mention his other book, which is Kosher 6?
Yes.
Tonight, they go uncensored and head-to-head. We're bringing together two very opinionated, passionate, influential people, very opposing views, and we're going to have a proper debate.
What do you call this opposing?
Proper debate.
Proper debate. This is the furthest thing from a proper debate in history. I mean, apart from these guys just like shooting each other or something like that, you couldn't be far away from a proper debate here.
What's funny is Piers Morgan. He's like, on one hand, it seems like he was really he was really enjoying the what was happening and how much activity it brings. But on the other hand, he was genuinely disappointed that they didn't even have a proper debate. That they never actually debated the topic. Man.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's walking away from this more enlightened. In fact, and Pierce eventually gets to this as far as like the takeaway is like, I mean, is there even hope for the future when you can't even have a discussion with, you know?
Yeah. I think one of his final words was, "You let yourselves down" or something like that.
How dare you? No, you're just a little weakling. And I think at the end when he says something like that, Hijab goes, "Who cares?" He says something like that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Why are you stuttering?
And then Piers Morgan finally says, "I don't care about your sex lives," and then it ends. So
why stuttering?
Yeah.
More that we can agree on than we first imagined. So thank you for joining me, gentlemen. We tossed a coin before we came on air tonight, and actually you won the toss, and you said you want to go second.
I defer to my brother.
And the way this will work, Mohammed, we have
Allah has spoken. You see,
look how he sits there. Like no compliment, taking no compliments. Just
well, I mean, it's just funny though. He lost the coin toss, man.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's over.
It's humiliating.
Sections of this debate.
Allah has spoken.
And at the start of each one, you'll both get 1 minute uninterrupted to say what you want to say about each of the themed titles of each block. So you go first, and at the end of your minute, you'll hear a sound, and when you hear that, you end, and then Rabbi Shmuley gets his chance to speak. So the first theme is.
I wonder if he trained that, like if he always be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you trying to impress, man?
He probably sat in front of a mirror planning that one. This is how I look. This will be most intimidating. Oh.
Is a simple one. Are Hamas to blame? You have a minute, Mohammed, from now.
From one perspective, Hamas started the battle because obviously from October 7th, even they themselves title it Tufan al-Aqsa or the flooding of al-Aqsa. But from another perspective, if you really look at it from an international law perspective, we're talking about 1967, we're talking about Syria Resolution 242, in which it is actually stated that Israel is in a belligerent state because they're occupying the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza. And they have been, so therefore the war has been continual for a very long time according to international law. But let's remove Hamas from the situation altogether.
Remove.
Let him speak. Why are you mocking?
It's very impressive to my followers when I say remove. It's like the truth.
You see?
You have the West Bank. And what do you have in the West Bank? You have 187 children who have been put in prisons. They have been put in prisons, according to B'Tselem, without charge. You have 44 children before October the 7th that have been killed before October the 7th in just 2023 alone. So if you remove Hamas from the equation, well, you have...
What he actually means by that, by the way, is anybody under the age of 18. So, and it also happens that half the population is, I think, under the age of 18. Did I get that right? Something along those lines. And many of whom are actually arrested in the middle of acts of violence. And yeah, I would say, I mean, of course, there is something to criticize about that. But does it really take away from the actual question here? Hamas. Is Hamas to blame?
You have the West Bank. You remove dominance from the equation, you have the West Bank, and what you have occupation, you have settlement, which you condemned, rightfully so. You condemned that on your show. The settlement's there.
Okay. Rabbi Shmuley, 1 minute to respond.
Resolution 242
Why is he so like he started yelling immediately? It's so funny.
in the UN doesn't mention a single thing about aggression or aggressor. That is a total fabrication, and it speaks about disputed territories. But let's be clear: the occupier of
Really? That's funny.
Gaza is Hamas. They won an election in 2006, had a civil war with Mahmoud Abbas, took the Palestinian Authority officials, threw them.
Hold on. This is actually important. The question by Piers Morgan was about Hamas. Is Hamas to blame? And Mohammed Hijab vastly talked about the West Bank and about the occupation and the settlers and this and that. He'd never even addressed the situation in Gaza, which is that, there is no occupation in Gaza. There is Hamas is in charge. Hamas is in control of Gaza, aside from the blockades, which are in place because Hamas refuses to make peace. So, interesting approach.
Off buildings, killed Muslims, killed Arabs. Mahmoud Abbas is afraid to go to Gaza. He's terrified of Hamas. He hasn't been there since 2007. And let's be clear, Hamas is an abomination to Islam. Sultan Salah al-Din, the greatest Muslim conqueror of all time, after whom the main artery in Gaza is named, he said that you have to allow all prisoners to be redeemed. He would never hold hostages. And remember, Islam is about fair treatment of prisoners of war. Hamas beheaded Thai non-Jewish workers. You asked the last appearance here for real first-hand sources. I'm the first-hand source. I saw it in Kibbutz Alumim. They raped women. They had sex with dead women's bodies. They are evil and do the right thing.
This is really weird, and this happens throughout the entire exchange. It looks like Rabbi Shmuley is only familiar with Dawa guys from 20 years ago and not the recent batch, and doesn't seem to be familiar at all with what the Muslim sources say or what Islam actually teaches. In fact, later he sounds confused when he thinks that the hadith in the Hamas charter is actually a hadith from Muhammad and not just something that Hamas made up. But even here, Islam is all about fair treatment of captives, and these guys are raping them. Like, what? Wait, what? He doesn't know that's part of Islam. That's directly from the Quran. That's directly from the Hadith.
Yeah, so, it is indeed part of Islam to do that, to take captives and to also have sex with them non-consensually, if you are in charge of those captives. That is established, that it is something that Muhammad did according to the hadiths. It is something that Islamic history is full of, that the Islamic conquerors, the caliphates allowed, the soldiers did throughout history over and over again. And it is something that Muslim apologists in our time, I don't know if Mohammed Hijab personally ever addressed this topic, but for example, Daniel Kikiju is one of those, among others, who have said that there is nothing wrong with it and it is completely permissible. In fact, Daniel Kikiju said you could even take a 7-year-old or a child of any age as a sex slave in battle. I'm not kidding. For those who have missed it, for those who don't know what we're talking about, for those who are not familiar with these Muslim apologists, these Dawa guys, and with Daniel Kikiju, let me play this here for a second here.
Classic.
What about, because you've tried to justify sexual slavery after a war. So what if a man finds a 7-year-old, let's say, started her period, could he take her back as a sex slave?
So that's a whole different debate on slavery and concubinage.
I'm just talking about the minor aspect. Would that be fine?
Yeah, so if a girl is any age, she can be taken as
a sex slave, right?
Yeah, as opposed to being left to die after war.
So women can't take care of themselves. They need to be taken by the men because they're too capable of caring for themselves.
Only about 10 seconds left.
Yeah, a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old.
Not talking about the women and the children.
Yeah, so he says any age, as soon as they show signs, you can take them as sex slaves. So IP here asked about the age of 7, and he says any age, any age. Pay attention, any age.
Yeah, and people aren't supposed to be worried about guys like this taking over. Yeah. But anyway, the point is, Rabbi Shmuley throughout the discussion seems to think that Islam is a lot better than what its representatives like Hijab are proclaiming, and doesn't seem to realize that it's not. That these guys are much closer to what Islam actually teaches than whoever he's been interacting with for the past few decades.
Yeah, and you can also find this directly in the Islamic sources here. For example, here in Sahih Muslim, it already says at the header in Sahih Muslim, it is permissible to have intercourse with a female captive after it is established that she's not pregnant, and if she has a husband, then her marriage is annulled when she is captured. And the hadith then describes how they were hesitating to have sex with the captives, but they asked Muhammad, and he then allowed it. So this is traditional Islam. Traditional Islam.
Mm-hmm. Straight out the Quran and the Hadith.
Straight out of Hadith. Yeah.
And call them evil.
All right, we've had a minute each. Okay, we've got a passionate start. Mohammed, let me ask you about Hamas.
I want to first, before you do that, I want to commend you, Piers, honestly, because bringing me on for the second time.
Look at that. We've discussed this a million times. When I mean, they've got two tactics. They've got two of the traditional 5 tactics for manipulating people. It's you just shower people with praise when they do what you want, and you heap abuse on them when they don't, and you rapidly condition them into behaving as you want, which is why it's exactly why Mohammed Hijab was smiling at the beginning in the last discussion. Why you call me controversial? Why you call me controversial? How dare you do that? And complain like a big baby. And then for this one, Piers introduces him exactly as he wants, and then he sits back. See, and notice here, he's praising him. He's praising him for helping him here. So awesome.
Yeah. No one Walter said that intro sound keeps being brilliant. I know it is brilliant. It's fantastic. But thank you. I
have to commend you, and the fact that you actually condemned the settlements is very good. But people want to know: do you think the IDF are a terrorist organization?
No.
You don't think they're a terrorist organization? Okay, well, if you look at the UN definition of terrorist organization,
why is he taking control of the panel?
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing he does.
He thinks he's in charge here. He's not in charge. This is a program where Piers Morgan is moderating the room, and Mohammed Hijab suddenly thinks he's in charge and tries to take over.
And I mean, seriously, Piers saw that last time, so he should have taken some precautions, and the precautions should have been either beforehand or at the beginning of the show, or when Hijab started right here. Hey, stop it now, or I will cut your mic. I'll cut your mic and you can leave.
If I was sitting there, I would, cut in and say, "Hold on, what's happening here? What is happening? This guy is not in charge."
Maybe
Rabbi Shmuley should be more familiar with these people. And then,
I would escalate if I were Piers. I would say, "Hey, anytime you guys cross certain lines, I'm cutting your mic and I'm letting the other person talk uninterrupted for 2 minutes or so, or something like that."
Yeah.
They say killing civilians for political
So you're asking my opinion?
No, but if
I don't
the
think
UN
they are
definition, according to the UN definition, is killing civilians for political objectives. Why are they not terrorist organizations?
Well, you've asked me a straight question. I don't think they are terror organizations.
So when you see babies like this, the ones who...
I'm not entirely sure that is accurate, by the way.
No, it's not. I mean, following his definition, every war has been an act of terror, because all wars involve killing civilians. And he just called his prophet a terrorist, because Muhammad killed civilians over and over and over again. People like Ali Dawa, his partner in crime, advocate killing people like you, even though you're a civilian. You're not part of a military marching. He advocates killing you. So Ali Dawa is promoting terrorism and so on. He's just no. This is not anyone's definition.
Or he doesn't understand the entire point of defining terrorism. So terrorism would be when you use unlawfully use violence against the civilian population in order to achieve certain goals. And there are even certain non-violent acts against the civilization that are against the civil population that are considered terrorism. If you do something, if you cause explosions or mass manipulations, killings for the sole reason to spread fear or draw attention in order to further a political goal, that is what terrorism is. An army declaring war and then firing and causing collateral killings would not be terrorism in any sense. It doesn't fit the definition at all. So this is complete nonsense.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Hijab knows that.
Yeah, I am too. Now he's holding up a photo of a dead child to win over the people, and he's basically using the Hamas tactics here. which are don't let anyone evacuate, attack, let Israel come, let Israel kill civilians, and then cry to the world and say, how dare you, world, look at what they're doing. This is basically what Mohammed Hijab is doing here as well. Unfortunately for him, the Piers Morgan show censored the photo, so it doesn't really work here.
So yeah, I mean, it would have been that would have been age restricted if they left that up.
Yeah, why would he even try to show this? It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, he knows it's either they're going to have to blur it because it would be age restricted if they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
It's horrific.
So the people who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
Well, let me respond.
Yes.
Let me respond. We'll both,
It's not your turn.
You can both get into this. Here's my response to that. And I thought carefully about this. I'll be very honest about my own feelings. I have a real moral quandary about this because as a father, I hate these scenes of kids being killed in Gaza. It's horrific, right? We all know it's horrific.
But are they a terrorist organization, though?
I'm about to explain to you what I think my position is. My position is after what happened on October the 7th, it was so barbaric, so disgusting.
So you can kill children?
Well, no, what you can do...
That's exactly what terrorists say.
Why isn't he letting him speak?
Let me ask you...
And it's just, I mean, you wish someone in this discussion was familiar with the Muslim sources, because according to your prophet, Mohammed Hijab, what you're not supposed to do is target women and children. You are completely 100% allowed to kill women and children when that's not your goal. It's just collateral damage. You are totally allowed to do that according to Muhammad himself. And so the question is the IDF deliberately targeting children, or are the children collateral damage in that they're targeting someone else?
Yeah, it says here in Sahih Muslim, and this is very important, of course, because Mohammed Hijab is primarily a Muslim apologist and preacher. And it says, it is reported on the authority of so-and-so that the Prophet of Allah said, when asked about the women and children of the polytheists being killed during the night raid, they are from them. So this is Muhammad's response. When they raid and they kill women and children during the raids against the polytheists, they asked Muhammad about it. Muhammad said, I don't care. They are from them. So this is what the Prophet says. This is what the holy Prophet says. So why would you then call IDF terrorists?
Yeah, and just imagine if Piers or Rabbi Shmuley just bring that up. Wait a minute, you're saying killing civilians, even if you're not targeting them, you're targeting someone else, but you accidentally kill women and children. You're saying that's terrorism, that's war crimes. How do you explain this? And it's just, notice we're just giving the example because of the women and the children. If you're talking about killing non-combatants and civilians, and so that's all over the place, especially with the Jews and the Muslim sources.
Yep.
This is not a debate. This is someone else becoming the host of the show and now interviewing you. I thought
finally, he's actually speaking about it.
Mohammed, you and I are being interviewed. You're not here to interview him.
You're gonna have your chance.
Mohammed, you can put it down.
Don't make him lose control of his own show. You let it happen tonight.
Please have respect for the...
No. Stop interviewing the interviewer and be respectful. And be respectful.
Let me respond.
Tell me, sorry, is it a terrorist organization or not?
No.
Why not?
I do not believe so.
They kill civilians for political
objectives. You have to let me answer.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Watch. He won't let him.
Why is Piers even engaging in this? This is ridiculous.
And it's just ridiculous because he won't let Piers say like 3 words without interrupting him.
Yeah.
Hamas did what they did. 2 things. 1, Hamas knew exactly what Israel's response would be. They knew they would come incredibly hard back.
I don't absolve them.
Wait a minute. I'm not absolving anybody.
I'm not absolving them.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying the West Bank is West Hamas. West Hamas.
You have to let me answer.
You got 44 children killed like this in the West Bank.
This is ridiculous.
Wait a minute, Rabbi Shmuley. Let me just answer you quickly.
Go ahead.
I believe Israel has a right to defend itself from after that terror.
I'm serious. If Rabbi Shmuley at this point walked out and said, "Okay, I'm done with this. I didn't come here for this," it would be completely understandable. I mean, Piers Morgan is very experienced, right? And he did this for decades, forever. It's very strange that he would here let the guest take over the conversation and actually engage with it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't think he's used to it. Like, and with Mohammed Hijab, it's something that would be planned, right? Like, I can go in there and throw this whole thing off, and that's part of. Hijab always does that. He always does something to kind of throw the other person off. He's we've said a million times before, he has no interest in engaging someone just, hey, back and forth, even field and so on. There's always some goal to throw the other person off. And by the way, right now, what he's doing, it's nothing compared to what he's about to do.
Yeah.
But can they kill children?
Wait a minute.
Can they?
Wait a minute. Particularly after the Hamas spokesman only last week said that they want to do this again and again and again. That's an existential threat to Israel.
Why don't they fight them man to man? Man to man. Fight them man to man. Why do you have to kill children?
Wait a minute.
Why do you have to
Let me
kill
answer you,
children?
Mohammed.
Why?
Let me answer you.
Of a ratio of 100 to 1, by the way.
Let me answer you.
100 to 1 ratio.
Let me answer you.
Go ahead.
Otherwise, it's pointless.
Go ahead.
So, I agree that Israel must defend itself. I agree they have to get rid of Hamas because Hamas is wedded to an ideology of existentially removing Israel.
Is this acceptable?
Wait a minute. I'm coming to your answer.
Is this acceptable?
I'm coming to your answer.
This is not.
This is not even a conversation.
Wait a minute.
Listen, I came all the way from the United States for this debate.
Let me finish.
And he will not let anyone else speak. And if that's how these shows work, no. You are rude. You are a bully. You just are trying to interrupt people. I didn't have a chance to speak, or there's no point in doing this show. He did this last time, and you allowed him to, but I won't allow him to because I will never be bullied by a bully.
At the moment,
let me.
Finally. Don't stop, please. Please take over, man.
Wait a minute. No one's allowing me to answer your question.
Go ahead, sir.
And it's this. I believe Israel has a right to defend itself.
Okay.
I agree that they need to get rid of Hamas.
In this way?
Who are terror groups.
In this way?
Well,
Piers Morgan lost control of the room very quickly. It's only 5 minutes and he already lost control of the room. This is very, very bad.
Oh, here's the quandary for me morally, right?
Why is that a quandary, though?
I'll tell you why.
With Hamas, it's not a quandary.
I'll tell you why. Because in war, when you declare war, as Britain did with the Nazis,
100 to 1 ratio.
No,
100
of course,
to 1.
There are
combatant to non-combatant ratio.
A far higher number of children in Gaza, proportionate to population, than almost anywhere in the world.
Piers,
so when they go after Hamas,
give me a chance.
Very sadly, Mohammed, let me finish.
This is no.
Very sadly,
You are the one who insisted on equal time. I never did, but you will not respect equal time.
I will come to you literally in 30 seconds.
He's going to ask you a question.
In 30 seconds, I'll come to you.
He's going to come.
God, this is ridiculous. Piers Morgan doesn't get the point of the rabbi saying, hey, this is not part of this conversation. What is happening? This should not be happening. And Piers is like, okay, wait, hold on. I'll get to you. He really lost control of the room. This is ridiculous, man.
Let me finish, please. I am in charge here, Mohammed. So my final point on this is, unfortunately, in war, civilians
100 to 1 ratio. 100 to 1 ratio.
Yes.
100 to 1 ratio.
Yes, they get killed.
No, not 100 to 1 ratio. It's an unacceptable ratio.
Get killed.
Piers, listen.
Rabbi Shmuley, in you come.
You know, Piers, can I say respectfully, and I mean this as no insult, I'm amazed that you're intimidated by this man. I feel, well, with all due respect, if I can speak,
I wouldn't bring him back if I was intimidated.
If I can speak.
And he raises a very valid question, by the way.
No, he does not, because I have. Before he did this debate, he went on X on Twitter and said, I'm only doing it if there's equal time. And then he is violating that. I never asked for equal time. I just want to be heard, but he won't even let me be heard. Let me explain something to you. You said in a video the other day, and you can look me in the eye, you said that Jews are now trembling. Mohammed, I am not. No, don't interrupt me. I am not trembling. It's all on my Instagram page. Now, you see this yarmulke? It means that I represent something. I'm an ambassador. You're an ambassador of Islam. You are talking about a religion that started the world's first universities, educated women. Fatima started the first university.
Can you tell the sort of Muslims he's been interacting with? He's been interacting with like the Dawa guys from 20 years ago, and doesn't seem to be aware that he's been not interacting with the most reliable folks.
Yeah, he's also. I think he was impacted also by this whole recent. The people who are in charge of the United Arab Emirates, political figures, political people. He also mentions that later on. By the way, he visited the United Arab Emirates. He visited Dubai, and he was quite impressed and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Maybe he is also just trying to appeal to some good part of Islam and trying not to make this a hostile, a fight, a war between religions. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's part of the point. I would understand that entirely. But so the things he says here, Islam educated women, started universities, this and that. No. Islam doesn't do that. Islam certainly didn't educate women.
in Fez, Morocco.
Irrelevant.
Now we have a man who says that he's a representative of Islam.
He's meant to be speaking to you, right?
He goes to Speaker's Corner. He speaks about whether 5-year-old girls are old enough for sex. He says that gay men are dying of AIDS as a punishment from God. And I'm sorry to have to say this to the listeners, that blood is gushing from their backsides. They're better off. You know what it is? Because you are desecrating a great world religion. Now let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it appeals. Why it's here. Because he will
bring
defend
it back to the debate.
I will.
Bring it back to the topic.
He will defend Hamas's butchery, savagery. He doesn't care that Hamas is an abomination to Islam. Because
this is such an annoying trait. I mean, this whole repeating something over and over and over again to interrupt your opponent. That is.
And I mean, by the way, I mean, think about the level of narcissism here with Mohammed Hijab. Rabbi Shmuley is actually promoting Islam as this great world religion and this great source of all sorts of wonderful things, and he's claiming that Mohammed Hijab is actually out of whack here, and Hijab can't stand it, right? Hijab, this guy's actually doing dawah for him, and Hijab can't stand it because he's criticizing Hijab in the process.
Yeah, as soon as the rabbi mentioned, some good things about Islam, Mohammed Hijab said irrelevant, nothing to do.
Like, shut up about Islam. We don't care. We only care about me.
He brings up random things, and then when the rabbi actually issues some praise, he's like irrelevant. This is, by the way, what he's referring.
If you look just at the Quran, you will get the indication that you can have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. The reason why it's haram to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old is not found in the Quran at all. If you just read the Quran, it is halal. It would be halal to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. Chapter 65, verse 4. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us who you can divorce and who you cannot divorce. And then he says, وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنِ. وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنِ. And the ones who had never been pubescent before. And by the way, this is very important, yeah?
Yeah, so this is the talk about having sex with 5-year-olds that the rabbi just referenced.
Yeah, we should address that real quick because that's going to keep coming up. And Hijab keeps denying it. And in defense of Mohammed Hijab, yes, in the full video, he's not saying that it's okay to have sex with a 5-year-old. He's saying that if you just go with the Quran, you'd have to say it's okay to have sex with a 5-year-old because the Quran, the rule that the Quran lays down is it just talks about having sex with prepubescent girls. Hijab's position is that, yes, it's halal according to the Quran, but because of Muhammad's example of waiting a little bit longer, therefore you should go with that and consider it haram to have sex with a 5-year-old, which is, we've talked about this before, why this is interesting, because Muhammad himself said that if you go with a man and let a man define a human being trump what Allah has declared halal or haram, you are worshiping that man. And so right here you have yet again Mohammed Hijab, according to his own prophet, he is worshiping his prophet and the later people involved in the hadith and so on, allowing that to trump his God. But notice, even though it's not correct to say that Mohammed Hijab approves of sex with a 5-year-old, his buddy Daniel Hakikachu absolutely does.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And we have just seen it.
But he hasn't done.
Even with an 11-year-old, by the way, if the parents allow it.
The children in Gaza are dying because Hamas uses them.
Sorry, I mean 11-month-old.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Even
years.
11...
That's like a great grandma for one of these guys.
Yeah. I mean,
11 years old. The 11-year-old has a 9-year-old daughter, and then the 9-year-old has a 7-year-old daughter, and the 7-year-old, like
even
Russian nesting doll situation.
11 months old, according to him, if the parents allow it, with an 11-month-old.
As bulletproof vests.
Okay.
The United States and France and England said yesterday that the Al-Shifa hospital is a military base.
Okay.
It has a tiny veneer.
Let him have his minute.
It has a tiny veneer of emergency rooms.
Okay. A minute.
But underneath all of it is a military base.
You have a minute.
And let me tell you something. If it's true that any of these countries care about the Muslims in Gaza because they believe what he's saying, that Israel's killing them. This is a map of all the countries that took place last week in Riyadh to save the Palestinians of Gaza from Israel. Do you know how many? That's Israel, a tiny thing. You know how many of them took in even one Palestinian from Gaza? Zero, nothing.
All right.
Look at that map.
Let me,
because they
Stop
want
pointing,
to,
stop
the
pointing.
Arabs want to see,
All right,
no, I'm
Rabbi
pointing
Shmuley.
the
Hang
Arabs
on.
want to see
Rabbi
Hamas.
Shmuley.
Don't intimidate me. Don't bully
Okay,
me.
okay,
Thank you,
let
Mohammed.
me ask you-
Don't intimidate me.
Stop pointing.
I'm not
Guys,
afraid of
I've
you.
got to be able to ask questions. It's a debate. Let me ask you one specific question.
It's funny because at this point they're just yelling at each other, but later they will start laughing and they will speak more and more about sexual stuff.
Yeah, it gets real. It gets real graphic. You might want to hide your kids for what's coming up here in a little bit. You don't want to hide your kids, hide your wife, because Hijab is. This is wild stuff. I like how they both bring visual aids.
Yeah.
Question which you raised, which I don't think actually is your belief. I don't think you have defended what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Yeah, I haven't.
I think you share our
Are they
view.
evil? Are they
Unless
evil?
I'm wrong.
Are they
spoken
evil?
about this
Are
before.
they evil?
Stop
Are
speaking.
they
Is it me
evil?
or him I'm
Are
speaking
they
to?
evil?
Stop
Rabbi
speaking to
Shmuley,
this. Stop speaking.
you're now
Stop
doing what you
speaking.
accused him of doing.
Stop
So
speaking.
let me ask you, what is your view of Hamas post-October 7th?
I think that they, just like anybody else, have to be examined. Have to look at all.
What's your opinion about them?
Yeah, I think that here's my opinion. Let me be straightforward about this, right? Anybody who kills civilians, anybody, whether it's the IDF, I'm consistent in this manner. If it's proven beyond reasonable doubt that these people have killed civilians in both of our faith traditions, in Islam and Judaism, in the Quran is mentioned, in the Prophet, he said it himself, you cannot kill a woman, you cannot kill a child. I condemn them.
Wrong.
I condemn them.
Wrong. Liar.
point-
Liar. He did not say you can't kill a woman or a child. He specifically said you can't. They're not supposed to be the targets. Why? They're your property. Why are you killing your slave girls and your future slaves?
Yeah. And to be fair, Hamas directly targeted women and children. And what's interesting is at this point, Mohammed Hijab has still not condemned what Hamas did, because he only said here that if it is proven beyond reasonable doubt.
He keeps it hypothetical.
Yeah, he keeps it hypothetical. He has still not
If
condemned
you were to
Hamas
show. Yeah. And you know what? He's doing that deliberately. He makes it sound like he's condemning them to all the people who are watching, but he leaves the door open for Daniel Hakikachu to say, oh, so I don't condemn Mohammed Hijab because he didn't say that Hamas actually did it. He simply said, yeah, if someone does it, then he would condemn them.
Yeah, anyone who has actually analyzed the evidence knows for a fact that beyond reasonable doubt, Hamas did target and kill women and children as well. Deliberately targeted, looking a woman in the face and killing her. So, but no, he just keeps it open.
That's what I do. Straight away, whether he's Muslim, whether he's non-Muslim, whether he's Christian or anybody else. I've already said that. So I'm not being inconsistent here. My question is, if that is exactly the barometer that we're using, if that's the moral reasoning that we're using, then we have to say, look, if you have a 100-to-1 ratio, and that's what it is, 100-to-1 ratio. And you know how I got this figure? I got this figure from the IDF themselves.
At this point, nobody actually noticed that he played a trick here. And nobody said, so do you condemn Hamas then?
Yeah,
because they have reported.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
And it comes up over and over again, and he keeps going back to the hypothetical. Oh yeah. Yes, well, if someone does that, and later it becomes, if you were to condemn the IDF and call them a terrorist, then you can say that that Hamas are terrorists.
Yeah.
Hamas deserve to stay in power after what they did?
I don't think we should have Hamas in power. What I think we should.
Okay.
No, let me tell you.
We should have. How do you get rid of them?
We should have a Palestinian Authority with.
Oh, he just wants to lead the conversation. Why don't you answer the question? Piers Morgan is asking you, should they be in power? If not, how do we get rid of them? But no, he wants to take over. He wants to preach.
Bigger armies and airports with proper tanks and with airplanes like every country in the world.
You know what? You might be right. But
absolutely. They won't allow it.
How do you get rid of
Israelis won't allow
How do you get rid of Hamas?
Of course they don't allow it.
Yeah, do you hear how insane this is? They're saying, hey, how do you get rid of Hamas? He's saying, give us a big, giant military. Give the Palestinians, give the Gazans and the West Bank a big, massive, giant military. That'll solve the problem. Are you insane?
You know what will happen? in an ideal in his ideal world, if his ideal situation arises, if his demands were met, and people actually were stupid enough and came together and said, okay, you know what, let's try this. Let us create this big free Palestine. Let us give them military power. Let's let them have tanks and an airport and bombers and whatever it is. They would then cause a war and try to take over Israel. And if they succeeded, Mohammed Hijab would then say, well, you had it coming. Sorry, yeah. They had their reason. They were right to do this. They were right to do this. Let's look at what Israel did in the past. Of course, they're going to do this. So to him, it is just about empowering the Palestinian side in order to then make them superior and get rid of Israel in the end. That's what this is all about. That's what.
And just imagine that if you were in any other kind of war and said, hey, what are we going to do here? Oh, well, these guys who want to brutally annihilate the other side, you just have to keep giving them more and more weapons.
Yeah. Israel deliberately does not want any solution in which the Palestinians actually have a country where they have a strong military. Like, you can go back to many of the speeches, many of the demands issued. You can go back to Netanyahu when he explicitly advocated for a two-state solution. What he said and what many others have echoed for a long time is, we want to have a neighbor that we want to have peace with, but under no circumstances can that neighbor have an army. It must be demilitarized, because we cannot live under these circumstances. We cannot have a militarized Palestinian state as a neighbor and then constantly be afraid of being wiped out. It's simply not possible. It doesn't work this way. It will not work that way. It has to be demilitarized.
What you don't do, I can tell you for a fact, is try and kill 30,000 of them with a 100-to-1 ratio. Because if you do that, then you're committing genocide, because you'd have to kill 3 million Palestinians.
Rabbi Shmuley?
Do you even know the definition of genocide?
I haven't said genocide.
Once you just said it.
No,
He just said it. Wait.
Rabbi Shmuley?
Do you know?
I can tell you for a fact, is try and kill 30,000 of them with a 100-to-1 ratio. Because if you do that, then you're committing genocide, because you'd have to kill 3 million Palestinians.
Rabbi Shmuley?
He just said genocide.
Do you even know the definition of genocide?
I haven't said genocide.
Once you just.
What? It's like, if you do that, then that is genocide. Do you even know the definition of genocide? I didn't say genocide.
I never said genocide, liar.
You just said it.
Hey, the next question should have been, do you know the definition of gaslighting?
He just said genocide.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Just said it.
Rabbi Shmuley?
Do you even know the definition of genocide?
I haven't said genocide.
Once you just said it.
No, I said if you.
What is the definition of genocide? What's the definition? What?
No, I said if you. What does it matter? You just said it.
I didn't say genocide.
You did say it.
If you do,
You always claim to be an academic. You're always touting your Oxford credentials. What is the definition?
All right.
Conditional.
You said conditional.
Genocide is where.
Genocide is where you'll be genocidal.
Genocide is where
you
target an ethnicity for extinction. Ethnicity side murder.
Yes, if you do it. If you kill 3 million Palestinians, are you genocidal?
There are one.
If you kill 3 million Palestinians, are you genocidal?
Okay, so one thing to establish here is where they are at right now, according to Mohammed Hijab's logic, Israel has not committed a genocide. And
Mohammed Hijab declares Israel has not committed genocide.
Yes, you can take this out here right now. You can take according to the logic here, according to what he just said, Israel has so far not committed a genocide. So when people propagate this idiotic idea that Israel has been committing genocide, then you could bring this up and say that this guy who went to Piers Morgan and so, he was so proud about how he presented himself. He was so proud about how he will make the case. This guy says that such a thing did not happen. Israel did not commit genocide because it would only be genocide in a hypothetical future if they killed 3 million people, for example. There you have it. All those who say Israel has been committing genocide, you're losers.
Don't speak over each
There are
other.
1.8 million
Holocaust a genocide?
Muslim
Was the Holocaust a
Arabs who
genocide?
live in total peace in Israel as equal citizens. In fact, Israel practiced reverse discrimination against the Jews because the Jews are
What's that got
conscripted
to do
to
with my
fight
question?
Hamas. So, if
Would you-
Israel, excuse me, no, you will not interrupt me.
Stop
if Israel,
it, man.
you will
Stop
not
it.
interrupt
Stop it,
me.
man. You're
You
embarrassing
will
yourself. You're
not
embarrassing
interrupt
yourself.
me. You will not.
You're embarrassed. He's telling the rabbi that he's embarrassing himself. Who is so far embarrassing himself?
Interrupt. You will not bully me. You will not interrupt me.
stop
I am
talking,
not
man.
afraid of
All right,
you.
don't
Stop
talk,
saying
stop
this.
Stop
Tremble.
shaking.
Now, let me
Guys,
be
stop
clear.
shaking.
Let me be clear.
Why are you stuttering? Why are you shaking? Why are you stuttering?
He already started with that. Stop shaking.
Why are you stuttering?
Then you need to control your guests with all due respect.
Need to
Okay,
control
he
both-
said
need to control both
he
guests.
said equal time, and there's no equal time. Now,
There's no equal time on
if
this
Israel
bit,
was
right?
interested in a genocide of the Palestinians, why do they have 1.8 million equal Arab Muslim citizens who are in the Israeli Supreme Court, who are 1/3 of the medical
Is that a
profession? Do you
To
know
me
that?
or
Do you
to
know that? Do you know that an Arab judge put the president of Israel in jail for accused
That's true. That's true.
rape? That was Moshe Katsav. That's how little Israel is an apartheid state, genocidal state. This man sitting next to
Sorry, I interrupted it too early. Here, let's have it again. That is true.
That was rude.
an Arab judge put the president of Israel in jail for accused rape. That was Moshe Katsav. That's how little Israel is an apartheid state, genocidal state. This man sitting next to me, Mohammed Hijab, will not distinguish between self-defense when Hamas comes to brutalize and murder your people
Let him
versus
speak.
when an army
Okay.
like
Okay.
Britain,
Okay.
like France, stops,
but Rabbi Shmuley,
retaliate
can we go
to
for the-
simply
can we
protect
go back
their
to the
rights.
subject?
I have to
You
say-
don't believe that Jews should have a right to defend
Rabbi
themselves.
Shmuley,
Say it
Don't
outright
say
then.
that.
Then say it.
The Jews have the right to defend themselves.
They do.
Yes, they do.
So
of
that's
course.
why we have to go.
Everybody has a right to defend
that's why
themselves.
we have
Jews
to
have
go
the right
into
to
God.
See, Mohammed Hijab declares Israel has the right to defend itself.
By destroying Hamas.
And by the way, here's the data. Israel's population, 21% is Arab. 21% is Arab. 17% are Arab citizens of Israel. So that doesn't really look at genocide, does it? That doesn't really look like it at all.
Gaza to
Okay,
stop
wait.
Hamas,
Yes, they
correct?
can go into Gaza
Rabbi
and stop
Shmuley.
Hamas.
But
No, they
Rabbi
can go in, but
Shmuley,
don't. No, hey, hold on.
but-
Let me tell you my
Say
position.
it.
Let me tell you my
So they can go in. Thank
He
God.
asked me a question.
Go
Can I
ahead.
answer,
Yes.
can I answer it? Yes, they can go into even fight. Even Abu Ubaidah, the general of Hamas, he said, "Nahnu fi intidharikum" in Arabic. We are waiting for you. That's what he's being
Okay.
said. Hold on. You've asked me a question.
Go ahead.
They do have a right. What I've been advocating all along is face-to-face confrontation.
That's what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what they're doing right now, and Hamas is failing. So
yeah, there are like a million problems with this. So on the one hand, I mean, again, check out the history of war. You generally bomb before you send in your troops and so on. But my goodness, yeah. What and notice right there. Hey, you asked me a question. You can't interrupt. You asked me a question. Like he would ask Piers or Rabbi Shmuley a question, then instantly start interrupting them. It's yeah.
imagine how ridiculous this is. This is like you're playing a game. Like it's like you're playing in a video game with somebody, and that somebody takes over and defeats you heavily, and you're like, no, that's unfair. That's unfair. Like Mohammed Hijab is acting like that he's playing a video game with somebody. This
And
is
notice
not,
it's
this
the
is not
same
reality. It's
yeah,
not reality.
It's the same thing as like Islam as a whole. It's we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. Oh, you're responding. Oh, we're victims. We're victims. We're victims.
Yeah. In reality, if it is an existential threat, you have Israel there. Israel is attacked over and over again. Most infamously now, Israel is attacked on one day by thousands of people who infiltrate the country and indiscriminately kill men, women, children, elderly, anybody. They kill civilians. 1,004, I think it was reduced to 1,200 people, mostly civilians. They kill them. Israel then declares war and responds to this. And you think now, oh, okay, well, if it's war, then okay, they should not, be too powerful. They should, come as equals. They should only come face to face. They should not fire rockets. They should not drop bombs. What do you think this is, man? This is reality. This is reality. It's an existential threat, and Israel responds to it severely. They don't care about what you think is fair or not. They don't care about your expectations of coming face to face, putting all of the extreme weapons down, putting their guns down and doing a fist fight. Nobody cares about this.
Yeah, and
It will be powerful, and you will lose.
it's just really, really weird because, again, in the Muslim sources, Muhammad simply having some sort of dream saying, "Oh, I think they're going to kill me. I think I'm getting a revelation that they're going to kill me." That's enough. That's enough to declare war. Someone pulling a prank on another person is enough for war. These are all justifications for war, and there's no concept of, oh, it was 3 guys who did such and such, therefore we're going to keep that equal. It was, okay, your entire tribe is gone.
Yeah, that's what Muhammad did in Medina with the tribes, the Jewish tribes. He got rid of them for something that one person did, or for something the collective is supposed to have done. He went and eradicated the entire tribe, or fought and expelled the entire tribe. Collective punishment, that's what he did. So Muhammad Hijab's own hero here did worse things than what he expects Israel to do. Very, very funny.
What I'm against, hold on, excuse me. What I'm against is a 100-to-1 ratio, because if you have 100,
we're going to come to this in block 2.
All right. Okay, fine.
Hamas is hiding under hospitals.
Okay.
What face-to-face confrontation? Hamas is shooting children who are going south.
I'm okay with face-to-face confrontation. I like it.
Block 2 is
It's the honorable way.
Block 2 is exactly this question.
Go ahead, let's go.
No, in war, honor doesn't matter, Mohammed Hijab. You might love these these heroic, dramatic depictions of things, but in war, nobody really cares about bravery. Nobody really cares about honor. People care about achieving the goal, and you can continue crying about it, but that's just how it goes.
Only observation,
He hasn't had
Rabbi
a
Shmuley, so far, you're being more personal and ad hominem than he is.
With all due respect, I think that's extremely unfair.
Well,
Because
you are.
every time
Ridiculous.
I say anything, no, listen.
And he's blaming Rabbi Shmuley. Like, what?
Piers also, when Rabbi Shmuley speaks, Piers quickly interferes. He doesn't do the very same thing with Mohammed Hijab as much. And it looks like he is doing something very typical here, which is he sees Rabbi Shmuley as the easier target here, and he finds it easier to interfere with him. So he quickly does it. He finds it easier to blame him, so he does it. But
it's like he's trying to appease the Muslim crowd a little bit by saying, "See, I'm so balanced that I'm on your side."
Yeah, I mean, who here thinks that so far Rabbi Shmuley was more, got more personal than Mohammed Hijab?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And for real, I mean, Hijab's about to get more personal than anyone in the history of debate.
Yes. And let's see that.
You keep answering for him, and in fact, when you actually ask him questions,
because
he
he
gives
won't
you straight
answer.
answers.
If Mohammed
answers.
Hijab wants to be a representative and ambassador of Islam, then he has to take responsibility for his position.
I don't want to be any of that.
He actually said that Islam believes in death. You're not going to beat us because we want to die. We're prepared to lose thousands.
Rabbi Shmuley,
Is Islam really a religion of death?
We're taking a break.
Poor ambassador of your faith.
Hey.
You believe in murder.
Look, Mohammed Hijab interrupts as soon as he speaks, and then they're still acting like it's the rabbi. This is really weird.
Of course.
Do you want to be a martyr?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to die fighting the Jews?
I didn't say Jews. Who said Jews?
Okay.
Do you know
you want to be a martyr where? What does it mean?
Yes.
Martyr means someone who dies for his
Muhammad
faith.
told us, "Man qutila duna malihi fahuwa shaheed." Whoever dies defending themselves, defending their wealth, is a martyr. No.
Do you want to die defending Islam, but do you want Islam to be a religion of peace?
Hold on.
Look at this. I mean, Rabbi Shmuley, again, he seems to have been interacting with similar people to what we've interacted with, but like 10 or 15 years ago, when everyone is still saying Islam's a religion of peace and tolerance, and no, there's no penalty for for apostasy or anything else. There's nothing like that in Islam. Islam doesn't teach you any of that. Islam's a religion of peace. And he thinks that's what Muhammad Hijab wants. And Muhammad Hijab says he seeks martyrdom. What? You want martyrdom? My goodness. I mean, that's kind of basic Islam, with Muhammad saying that was his greatest desire. I would love to be martyred in Allah's cause, and then come back to life, and then get martyred again, and then come back to life again, and then get martyred, and then come back to life. I mean, he was the early Muslim community was obsessed with it. That's Sahih al-Bukhari. And then Rabbi Shmuley's acting like this is some weird idea that Muhammad Hijab has.
We should have a conversation with Rabbi Shmuley. We should sit down and talk to him about what Islam is and what it actually teaches, and how he didn't get it right so far. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Do you agree or not?
Because
Do you agree or not?
Hamas is
Do you agree
using
or
him
not?
as a human
This is-
shield.
Really?
He is, yes,
Just like
Hamas
you-
is hiding
okay.
behind him.
Let's go
Correct.
to the next section.
Condemn
All right,
Hamas.
all right. This time.
This is so ridiculous. Like, you attack your opponent, then you keep your children in the war zone. The opponent shoots back, your child dies, and you're like, "You look what happened! Look at this dead child! Look at this is what you're for! This is what you are for! This is what you want! You want to kill children!"
And people on the day it happened, people were pointing out that was going to happen, right?
Yeah,
On the day on the October, right after the October 7th attacks, everyone is pointing out now Israel's going to retaliate, and then Hamas is going to run and we're victims. Look, they're targeting children.
Yeah,
Crazy.
precisely.
Already, come on, man. This
Let's
guy's
try
wasting
and,
my time.
try and talk over each other because the viewers can't hear it,
Okay,
right?
let's go
I don't
first.
mind the passion.
Sure.
I don't mind the debate. I don't mind the fire. I do mind if we can't hear what you're saying. It's
Yeah,
pointless.
let's do the minute
Let's
thing.
go to the second topic, right? This
Has he
time,
had his minute, by the way?
Rabbi Shmuley, you will go first with a minute to say what you want to say, and then Mohammed,
And what's the
Hijab, you'll
question,
get yours. So the theme is this, and the question is this for Block 2. Has Israel gone too far in its response to the October the 7th terror attacks? Okay, Rabbi Shmuley, you have a minute starting now.
I just came here by taxi and passed the statue of Winston Churchill. That's in the lifetime of our parents, okay? He is the greatest British statesman of the 20th century. You know what he did when he had a genocidal threat, knowing that Hitler wanted to eviscerate, annihilate Britain? He carpet bombed all of Germany, Dresden, Essen,
Look
Hamburg.
at Hijab looking at his watch. Look, 42 seconds. 42 seconds.
Air Force to carpet bomb said. He said, sends in its military. I have a friend who died, six children, 39, because he was personally trying to stop a Hamas terror tunnel. Israel is surgical. Israel is only going after the fighters. Israel has opened humanitarian corridors for the Palestinians to go south. Hamas shoots them and makes sure they don't go. Hamas builds its military structures. Right, Shifa Hospital is this much hospital and it's this much military. They love using Palestinians. And that's why they've stolen their money. They got about $16 billion from the international community. There isn't one bomb shelter in Gaza. They don't care about the civilians at all.
Okay.
Israel's doing the right thing.
Mohammed,
destroying Hamas.
you have
He is referencing something that recently came up, by the way, and that Hamas themselves admitted as well. Hamas leaders were asked about why they don't have bomb shelters and why they don't, protect the population. And the Hamas speaker said that they are not in that their job foremost is to build their tunnels and wage warfare against Israel, and that it is not their responsibility to defend the civilian population, that it is the responsibility of the United Nations and of Israel to defend the Palestinian civilian population. This is what the Hamas leader said.
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, Israel pulls out, they have elections, they elect Hamas, and then Hamas says, "Oh, we don't have to do anything here.
Yeah,
We just have to keep we dig tunnels, we launch missiles. That's what we do. We dig tunnels, we launch missiles, we hide, we don't let anyone out of the area because we want human shields, and that's what you elected us to do."
Yeah. Well, that's what we do. We just fight here. In fact, let's play this here.
تساءل وهذا سؤال رائج وشائع يعني من قام بتشييد 500 كيلومتر من الأنفاق لماذا لم يشيد مآوي
So you have built 500 kilometers of tunnels. Why haven't you built shelters where civilians can hide during bombardments?
يلجأ إليها المدنيون خلال القصف.
نحن شيدنا الأنفاق لأنه لا نملك.
This is Hamas political bureau representative. He says we have built the tunnels because we have no other way.
ما ندفع به عن أنفسنا من
Protecting ourselves from being targeted and killed.
القتل والاستهداف. هذه الأنفاق من أجل أن نحمي أنفسنا من الطائرات. نحمي مقاتلين من الأنفاق. أما القطاع غزة فأنت تعلم والجميع يعلم.
So they want to protect themselves when they are in the tunnels and when they fight Israel. It is not their job, basically, to do anything else outside of that. Everybody knows that 75% of people in Gaza Strip are refugees, which, by the way, is a very vaguely applied term. They live there. They have been living there forever. They were born there and grew up there, but they just call them refugees because they expect to one day go back to Israel and take over.
بأنه 75% منه لاجئين. واللاجئين هو مسؤولية الأمم المتحدة في حمايتهم.
Listen what he said here.
منه لاجئين واللاجئين هو مسؤولية الأمم المتحدة.
It is the responsibility of the United Nations to protect them. So this guy says, when asked, why don't you build bomb shelters for the civilian population in Gaza when you are spending, so many resources to build, underground tunnels? He says it's not our responsibility to do that. It's the United Nations responsibility. We don't care. We just care about fighting.
في حمايتهم مسؤولية الاحتلال في أن يقدم كل تبعا لاتفاقية جنيف الدولية أن يقدم لهم كل
And the occupation by which he refers to Israel.
الخدمات وهم تحت الاحتلال.
So Hamas speaker admits that they don't build any shelters for safety for the civilian population. They don't care because it's not their job, although they are the elected government.
Have a minute.
Oh, hang on. Little side note. Everyone who's got a Twitter account or whatever, or just want to share it on YouTube, but share the link to this. We're at almost 2,900. Let's see if we can break 3,000. That would be.
Oh yeah, cool. We're almost at 3,000.
Yeah, you're at almost 3,000, man.
Almost 3,000 viewers. Share this with your grandparents and grandchildren and relatives and everyone.
But not your kids, because it's about to get gross up in here.
Yes.
Do not send this to your kids if they're kids.
Absolutely. But almost 3,000 viewers, so we're going.
100-to-1 ratio comes from the following figures. We know that 10,000 civilians have died. Of them, according to the IDF, as reported by The Guardian, 60 dozens, they say, about 60.
Liar. That's what I was just looking up. If you saw me over here, I was reading. I was like, that sounds wrong, that you've only killed 60 Hamas. I looked it up. That's what I was over here reading. I was searching for it, and what the IDF reported. It's 60 commanders, 60 Hamas commanders is what the IDF reported. So look at what Hijab is doing. He's saying, they say 60 commanders. He says, we're going to be generous. We'll round that to 100. And then 10,000 people have been killed. So it's 100-to-1 ratio. It's a 100-to-1 ratio for every Hamas fighter you're killing. No, not what it said. It said Hamas commanders. So, and I'm pointing this out because this is like 50% of his argument for the entire rest of the debate is this 100-to-1 ratio. What you can't accept is a 100-to-1 ratio. You can't have a 100-to-1 ratio. 60 commanders, not 60 commanders, not 60 fighters.
Wow. Israel claims to have slain 60 odd senior and mid-level Hamas leaders, now hunting for combatant commanders. Wow. This is one of the main arguments that Mohammed Hijab uses.
That's his main argument. That's his main argument.
They killed only 60 Hamas, terrorists or whatever it is. The report is not that they killed 60 Hamas members. It is that they killed 60 something senior or mid-level Hamas leaders.
Among the many Hamas fighters that they killed 60 commanders.
Wow, this is. And this is what he's citing as well, because he's citing the IDF, but the IDF did not say we killed 60 Hamas members. They said we killed 60 Hamas leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So his entire argument here collapses. This is what he built his entire idea on.
It's the entire case.
Whole debate, and he didn't even get it right.
Nope.
He probably prepared with this argument.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get it right.
Yeah, and so the question is, does he know he's being deceptive here?
Wow.
That's a question. I'm like 50-50 on whether he knows it, because he is sloppy with sources. But this is a sort of stunt he might pull, so I can't really tell.
This is truly ridiculous. Well, I know that he, when he had a discussion with me, he cited several things that were completely wrong, and I only found some of them out later when I looked into it. And he also found out that he was wrong, but he never corrected himself. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm also conflicted. He's not very honest, but he's also very sloppy.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, think about this. Like, this is his main argument, and he's basing it off of an article. And then, I mean, he didn't even read the headline. The headline corrects his entire case.
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny because that's what got pointed out by Inspiring Philosophy with Hikikachu. Like, he'll cite all these studies, and then actually reading them completely contradicts what he's saying. He's apparently just like looking at a title and not understanding the actual contents. And then Hijab is very simple. Hijab doesn't even understand the titles.
So the 100-to-1 ratio, this is the foundation of Mohammed Hijab's entire point during this debate, is false. It has collapsed. It is completely meaningless, completely wrong. What do we do with this information?
But let's see how far he gets with that being his sole case. Now that we know, because Piers doesn't. Now that we know, it's totally bogus.
Wow.
Everyone Hamas, you have to kill 100 civilians. That's effectively what we're saying. If the trajectory continues as it is, then you
Why do you have to do that?
have to kill 3 million Palestinian civilians in order to kill 30,000 Hamas fighters. If you want to extinguish them, eviscerate them, annihilate them, destroy them, you have to do that. Now you have Herzog, who is the president that you interviewed, saying that all Palestinians, they are responsible. This man is being...
Notice he specifically said Hamas fighters. You have to kill, if you're keeping 100-to-1 ratio, then to kill this many, you have to kill this many, and it's all bogus. It's all bogus. Yeah. We're not. No one's talking. He's talking about kill 30,000 Hamas fighters. So I guess that's an estimate of how many Hamas fighters there are. And he keeps this 100-to-1 ratio, and therefore you'd have to kill 100 times as many Palestinians. But this isn't talking about how many Hamas fighters have been killed. This is the entire he can't read a title. He can't read an actual title of an article and get it right.
Yeah. What the president of Israel said, by the way, is it is an entire nation out there that is responsible, and we are at war, so we are fighting, which is not a very unusual thing to say. If you are fighting, if you are officially at war with a different nation. I mean, it's maybe you should even respect that they recognize Gaza here as a separate nation, and then saying that the nation is responsible. And can you blame him? I personally can't, because we just had a poll, as if we didn't have enough polls already on this matter. We just have a poll here, according to which, let's see what this says. How much do you support the military operation carried out by the Palestinian resistance led by Hamas on October 7th? And you see here in the results, this one is West Bank, and this one is the Gaza Strip. In the West Bank, 68% extremely supported, 14% somewhat supported, 8.4% neither support nor oppose. In the Gaza Strip, 46% extremely supported, 17%.
But look at the because then you have some undecided. I'm talking about the West Bank, but notice 3.3% somewhat do not support, just massacring, just crossing the border and massacring Jews. 3.3% somewhat do not support it, and 3.6% are extremely against, for a total of about 7% who are really against it.
Yeah, so what was said is not that every single Palestinian is at fault. What was said is that the nation is responsible. And when you look at this, you see that the vast majority of people are in support of what Hamas did that day. And only a minority opposes it, and some are undecided. Who can you blame for saying this? But yeah.
being more slippery. He's being more slippery than the lubricants that he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
Did you really just say that?
He did. I saw it. He did say that.
I love the rabbi's reaction to this.
Here's where it's about. Things about to get wild here.
Descending really. Oh God!
Mr. Golden Showers bringing up the lube for.
Wait, where were we? I just accidentally went.
We'll just play it and see where we are. I think we're a little farther than that.
He hasn't had
Rabbi Shmuley, so far, you're being more personal and
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're way past that.
Be a martyr?
Yeah, absolutely.
you can't hear it,
Okay,
right?
let's go.
He is the greatest British statesman of the 20th century. You know what he did with
All right, almost there.
from the international community? There isn't one bomb shelter in Gaza. They don't care about the
Okay.
Oh, someone's.
Which we're being liberal by saying situation.
Okay.
Palestinians, they are responsible. This man is being more slippery. He's being more slippery than the lubricants that he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
Did you really just say that? You know, you seem obsessed with Jewish sex. It's bizarre. Yesterday, you actually spoke about Ben Shapiro.
Who actually says this during a debate? This is.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys don't know. These guys don't know how to deal. He should have instantly dialed it up and gone after Mohammed, but he doesn't want to because he seems to like he seems to think that Islam is nice and wonderful and doesn't know this stuff about Mohammed.
Shapiro's wife.
Yes,
You
I did.
actually you said
Yes,
to
I
Ben
did.
Shapiro,
Yes, I
your
did.
wife's a carrot. Well, you're more of a man. Is that what you're trying to
Yes,
say?
I
All
did.
right. Then you said that Jews have
Can we-
BDSM. You're speaking about
No, can we get it
sexual
back?
lubricants while people are dying. You know, Mohammed, get your head out of the Jewish bedroom. It's really bizarre.
Can we
Let
get
me-
it? Can we
let
get
me-
it?
Let me be
Anyway.
clear.
No.
Sexual lubricants? How
You
embarrassing.
sell dildos, don't you?
Can we get it back?
You sell dildos, don't you?
Can we get it back to the
You sell
topic?
dildos.
You speak about 5-year-old girls being
No, I
ready
know,
for
it's
sex.
lies.
Come
Come
on,
on,
listen,
lies, you know.
listen.
Wait. He said you speak about 5-year-old.
5-year-old. Yeah, he's talking about the clip that we shared. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says, no, I don't. No, I don't. You're a liar. That's what he just said in response to that. He did speak about it.
Yeah,
He did
he
speak
did.
about it.
Yes,
Showed
he
it.
did. Yeah, he did talk about it. If you're saying he approves of it, not quite. He says that the Quran says it's halal, but it's kind of you have to take Muhammad's teachings into account, and maybe wait till she's 8 or 9 or something.
Yeah.
But again, Hakikachu, total thumbs up as far as he's concerned. He would say yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Why not?
Of course.
Why not?
What's wrong with that?
Of course.
She's 5.
5 years old, 11 months old, 2 days old.
Matter.
Doesn't
As long
matter.
as long as you get parental consent, that's it.
Yeah.
And what's amazing here is he keeps coming back to this. He keeps blasting him because he has a sex shop. Meanwhile, Ali Dawa is selling his orgasm intensifiers in his videos.
No.
Yo, we do you want to have the sexual strength of 30 men just like Prophet Muhammad? Well, then you need Ali Dawa's magic penis pills, chock full of camel urine and everything you need to be with as many child brides as you want.
Do you mean this here? Alidawa on his video advertises from Amazon female Viagra and male Viagra, and also the website. It's like a knockoff natural Viagra kind of thing, which he advertises. So
yeah, he's got the full ad. He's got the full ad in there with hot babes all over and.
Man, this is interesting. So why are we talking about the rabbis?
Is your 5-year-old child bride got too much energy for you, especially with all your other child brides? Then you need Ali Dawa's magic penis pills. What's wrong with it? Hijab's blessed. Like no. Rabbi Shmuley should have talked to us first beforehand, and he could have just fired right back.
Yeah. This is messed up. So the thing here is the interesting, funny aspect is that Rabbi Shmuley, he wrote a book which is called Kosher Sex, and he has these teachings about bringing back love and sensual marriages and all of that back to Judaism and introducing that back to the to the average Jewish public. And he actually established teachings on that, along with all of the other religious or political stuff that he talks and writes about. And his daughter apparently opened a shop that is called Kosher Sex, where they are selling online, where they are selling all kinds of different things that married couples can use. And that issue, of course, as soon as Mohammed Hijab was informed about it, of course, it couldn't escape. He had to grasp it, because sex is something Mohammed Hijab loves to talk about. Sex is something that Mohammed Hijab
Golden
loves
showers
in harassment and mockery. He has to use it, so he took advantage of that immediately.
Hey, you remember him? He asked his fellow Muslim, "Can I suck on your wife's tit?"
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yep. So yeah, he loves to use this kind of language, and why it goes back to Muhammad and his companions. Remember, Muhammad said, "If someone brags, hey, we crossed 3,000."
Hey, what's up?
Woohoo! He says, what were we talking about? Oh, Muhammad. Yeah, he says, if someone boasts about his lineage, tell him to go bite his father's penis. Abu Bakr famously said to one of the polytheists, go suck Allot's clitoris. He believed in a goddess named Allot, said go suck Allot's clitoris. And so it's built in there. And then Mohammed Hijab just rolls with it. There you have on the side there, can I suck your wife's tit to make her mahram?
Can I suck your wife's tit?
This is and notice, I mean, think about this. You know, you're having a debate. It's going to be about an hour
How
long.
about I suck your wife's tit?
It's about an hour long. And what do? Hey, your wife's sex shop. What about the lube? And he's about to go on, oh, dildos, vibrators. Ha ha. This is like the premier dai of our time.
Wonderful stuff. Powerful stuff.
Powerful.
And of course, we also have this one here.
Golden showers.
It says golden showers. I think I have a better screenshot.
Get on your knees for DW.
Get on your knees for David Wood or Daily Wire, whatever you want to.
This guy is awesome. As much as we complain, we love this guy.
Oh, here we have a better view of
there are 2 billion, there are almost 2 billion Muslims in the world. If I could pick someone to destroy Islam from within, the guy. Daniel Hakikachu is number 2. Ali Dawa's number 3. It's just amazing that the guys that we would pick to destroy Islam from within are exactly the guys who are in control of the Dawah right now.
Yeah. So this is the guy. He loves to talk about this stuff. He, for those who are not aware, most people I guess know by now, but for those who are not aware, this is Mohammed Hijab visiting our live stream, which was meant to be about Mohammed, not this Mohammed, about Prophet Mohammed. He visited our live stream, appeared in the live chat, and started talking about sexual things like, you two can play with each other. Get on your knees for David Wood. Gimp, David Wood can give you a golden shower. Go ahead and give David Wood what he wants. Let David Wood give you a golden shower. Gimp, get on your knees for your master. Boy, you can suck that. Golden shower it from your master. I know you need a slave master. Golden shower, Gimp, get on your knees. And so on. Let him slap your face, you fiend. So this is
Mohammed. Yeah, you can tell what he's into. Can you imagine being married to this lunatic? My goodness.
It would have been nice if he had gone like all out like this on the Piers Morgan debate.
Yeah. And it would have been cool if Piers or Rabbi Shmuley had been there. And wait a minute, I mean, your prophet is a guy who ran around bragging about having the sexual strength of 30 men. I mean, it's his followers who are bragging, but keep in mind, how do they know? How do they know anything about him? He had to be running his mouth to his followers for them to be talking about him banging 9 wives in one night and stuff. This is the same guy, you know, gets caught in his wife Hafsa's bed with a slave girl and so on. And
powerful stuff. By the way, yes, we have. This is the first time I think that that we have more than 3,000 viewers live.
That's a record
on this channel. So this is a record.
Let's get it to 5.
And
we're proud of that.
Yeah,
we are very proud.
We're very proud of that.
Let's go back to the issue. Let's go back to the issue.
Let me ask a question.
Why are you shaking? I've got a vibrator in your pocket.
Come on, it's a serious debate.
I think his daughter's vibrator.
Come on, leave it, please.
You are just...
But guys, for all you who are watching, when that happens, you are supposed to have a Quran with you. You're supposed to have a Quran. That's when you're supposed to tear a page out, pop it in your mouth, chew it up, and spit it out, and say one word about my daughter again. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the rule.
Who says this? And bringing in his daughter? He's like, I think he's got one of his daughter's vibrators in his pocket.
Yeah. Like totally say stuff. And we talked about this at the beginning. That's Hijab's goal. Say a bunch of stuff to get different, you know, to really mess you up and get you, get you confuse your thinking and so on. Distract. It's just a strategy with him. There can't be any actual calm, rational discussion with him.
And this was watched live by thousands of people. I mean, does this guy think those people were sitting at home watching it and were thinking like, whoa, amazing. Islam seems really, really, really mind-blowing. I want to convert to Islam as a result of this. I always had my doubts and my prejudices, but after seeing this gentleman talk about his opponent's daughter's vibrators in his pockets, I feel like Islam is a religion for me.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Yeah, he appeals to his crowd. Everyone else is going, what is this mess right here?
Yeah.
Come on, it's a serious debate.
I think he's got one of his daught's
Mohammed,
vibrators. in his
come on,
pocket.
leave him, please.
He does.
You are just
It's stupid.
humiliating
We're
yourself.
going to cut all
Get
this
back
stuff.
to the issue.
We'll cut all this stuff out. So there's no point.
Why? Why?
No,
Leave
not
it.
cut out.
People should
Uncensored,
see what he
uncensored.
represents.
There's no
It is
point
uncensored.
abusing each other personally.
Oh, no,
Okay, Piers.
I want to stick to the debate.
Let's get to the debate.
You don't want to do it? We'll end the debate.
Let's get to the debate.
Right, let me ask Mohammed a question. Right.
About vibrators. About vibrators.
He won't stop, by the way. For those who are wondering, he won't stop. He will continue. He will get back. He will make references again, and we will analyze them.
To me,
Yes.
obviously,
Yes.
a fact that many more Palestinian civilians, innocent people, are getting killed as retribution by the Israelis for what happened on October the 7th. That's indisputable, right? Their argument is that they're going after a terror organization, Hamas, and unfortunately in war, as Rabbi Shmuley correctly said about what Churchill did in World War II.
Churchill was wrong.
A lot of
Churchill was wrong.
Okay.
Was he a war criminal?
Yes, he was.
All
Yes, he
right.
was.
Churchill was a war
Yes, he was.
criminal.
Churchill was a war
Were all
criminal.
the British
Let me
people
do
who
the
lived there
question.
war criminals? Okay.
Let me do
And
the
George
question.
VI was George VI
Yeah,
war
all of them
criminal?
war criminals.
Really?
Like
Six
it's like
war
all of them.
criminals.
Yes, of
So
course.
anyone that,
his
hang on,
grand-
Rabbi
war
Shmuley.
criminal.
They were all war criminals. Churchill was a war criminal. Roosevelt was a war criminal. Everyone was war criminals. So what do we do with this information, David? do you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah. 1 second. Cameron from Capturing Christianity just posted in the chat. Shmuley is coming on Capturing Christianity for a debate review. AP, want to join?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes. Definitely. Most definitely.
You heard it here, folks. Rabbi Shmuley on Capturing Christianity.
Inshallah. Yes.
With AP.
We shall do that. I will educate the rabbi. I will humiliate him.
Humiliate him.
Oh,
Oh, man. Hey, you're going to be able to share a lot of interesting stuff about Mohammed Hijab.
oh man. But hey, that's great. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Let me ask. So let me get this
Absolutely.
straight. You think
Collective punishment.
You think Winston Churchill
Was a war criminal. Yes.
in standing up to the Nazis,
By killing the
who killed
babies.
12 million people,
I believe he was a war
that
criminal.
by doing what he did was a war criminal?
By killing in Dresden and Hamburg. But by the indiscriminate killing. Collective punishment. My morality says that's impossible.
Okay, that
Yeah. Okay. Well, Muhammad was also a war criminal. Prophet Muhammad was a war criminal. Indisputable.
Yeah,
Muhammad was a war
indisputable. Indisputable. You guys, you could put this together with a couple of passages from the Muslim sources and say Muhammad Hijab declares Muhammad was a war criminal.
Yes. Muhammad was a war criminal. Alhamdulillah. My morality. Muhammad was a war criminal. Look at this. You see it right here. It is reported that they said, we asked about the women and children of the polytheists being killed during the night raid. Muhammad said they are from them. So Muhammad was a war criminal.
War criminal.
Prophet Muhammad was a war criminal. There you have it.
That means the British people who
That's
supported
impossible.
him
Can't
and
kill
voted him
children.
in, they were
My
also...
morality says that's
just
impossible.
a second.
That's what I
But the
believe,
British
yes.
people...
Yeah.
You believe he was a war criminal?
Yes.
So therefore, your belief is that no retaliatory action.
No,
by
you can
any
retaliate to the man, not to the baby.
Imagine we followed this guy's logic. Imagine we followed the logic here. And so during the Second World War, a lot of air raids, a lot of massive carpet bombing, fire bombing, which is you could argue is incredibly cruel. But it was done as a retaliation. It was done by the Germans. It was done by the Japanese. It was then done as response by the Americans and the British on German cities and also on Japanese cities. And many of these contributed to the ending of the war, weakened the enemy significantly. It is argued, although it is disputed, it is still argued mostly that the two nuclear bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki brought the end of the war by bringing Japan down to its knees and surrendering. Without it, the war could have continued, and many more people could have died.
And that
civilians.
That was the reasoning. They said the Japanese sense of honor. They said we would have had to have gone house to house fighting people who were coming at us with swords because they would not have The idea was they would not surrender unless they were just completely overwhelmed and realized there's zero chance of us fighting these guys. And so that was the goal. Now notice you can still say it's still wrong. You shouldn't have done it even then. But Hijab's position here that you can't drop bombs at all because you might hit civilians. It's just, dude, war sucks. War sucks. That's how it is. And the idea that you're going to notice the idea. So you're talking about bombing a town. You have to invade the town. You bomb it first to weaken it, because that's, you're not going to have as many people killed going in there if you bomb it first. And yeah, he lives in a total fantasy land. He's completely contradicting his own religion, his own prophet. He condemned his own prophet. His own prophet is a war criminal. 14 centuries of Muslim leaders are war criminals. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, these nations are war criminals according to him because they bomb civilians in Yemen. So everyone's a war. Everyone who's ever been in war is a war criminal according to Mohammed Hijab.
All war criminals. They're all war criminals. Everybody is a war criminal, always. So yeah, the Second World War would have continued. The biggest atrocities were done to different populations. We in the West often talk about the Holocaust and the occupations and mass killings committed by the Nazis. Meanwhile, in the East, in East Asia, the Japanese Empire did some really, really, really messed up things. One of those is known as the rape of Nanking, which is where they invade. And the Japanese army is just free to run through the streets and kill, burn, torture, rape, whatever they want without any restraint. You could say that in comparison to that, the Nazis didn't have such a policy where they let their soldiers run free and rape and torture whatever they want. The Japanese did that. And to stop them, bombings were applied. Stuff like that would have continued.
It was pretty sick too. They constructed special chairs and strapped the Chinese ladies into these special chairs, which kept their legs spread out and kept them raised up so that they could just be repeatedly raped by lines of soldiers and so on. They had beheading contests, like the leaders would say, "Hey, fastest, let's see who can run around and behead 100 people the fastest with samurai swords and stuff." They're running around just beheading people in the streets and so on. And the concept of just war theory had not reached them.
Yeah, people are also bringing up Unit 731 by the Japanese, which was a chemical. I don't exactly know the details of it. A chemical biological warfare system, which the Japanese were developing as the Second World War was ongoing, by which they massacred thousands of people, and they wanted to advance it significantly to cause mass genocides, to impose the power and the supremacy of the Japanese empire upon the entire world. There was some real sickness going on, and these bombings were necessary to bring an end to it. But according to Mohammed Hijab, no, that was all wrong. It's all wrong. Should have never been done. Except, of course, when his own side does it.
Tell me a war in history where civilians haven't been killed.
No, I'm not saying civilians haven't been killed. It's
Just
about this ratio.
or
It's about the ratio. It's about the ratio.
What is the ratio?
What about the ratio?
100 to 1 is unacceptable.
Actually, morally,
100 to 1. Here he comes back. He says, no, notice, guys, it's not about civilians being killed. It's about the ratio that I've explained. We've already if you tuned in late, his ratio is completely bogus. He couldn't even read the headline of the source that he's citing. I mean, all you have to do is literally read the headline and you see that he has no clue what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, morally, okay. Well,
101 is an
hang
invention.
on, Rabbi Shmuley. So let me give you a ratio.
Yeah.
How many people did the Nazis kill?
I don't know.
You don't know.
We know they killed 6 million.
They killed 12 million people.
I don't know. We don't know.
Including 6 million Jews.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So
12 million
how many died in Dresden? How many civilians died in Germany? Do you know?
I don't know exactly.
Right.
Around 25 to 25,000, I think. Between 20 and 30,000. Let me check if I'm correct.
Liar.
So
prove it.
That is funny. So that wasn't that was nothing by his standards. Then this is a good question, actually. Let's see. The easiest source is always Wikipedia. Up to 25,000 people. Yeah, 25,000 people.
So you don't actually know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about because
You
I know in
called
Dresden and Hamburg.
You said
if
it's
he's
about
killed-
you. Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
said it's to do with the
ratios.
The ratio.
Yes.
You don't know the ratios. When
No,
you
no,
call,
I know for a fact
when you
Dresden
call
and
Winston Churchill
What are the numbers?
Dresden and Hamburg.
What are the
When you-
numbers?
Wait a
Dresden-
minute, Rabbi Shmuley. When you
Dresden-
call Winston Churchill a criminal,
Yeah, I believe
you're
a war
basing
criminal.
it on ratios you don't even know what they are.
No, I know there's difference of opinion among the scholars.
No, there isn't.
There is difference.
Tell us the
Of course.
opinions.
What
What
do
are-
He's speaking like he's talking about Islam. There's different opinion among scholars.
Ibn Kathir says,
Yeah, here we have Air Force historical source. Where does it say? In 2008, an independent historical commission formed by the city of Dresden concluded that approximately 25,000 lost their lives in the attack. Nothing in comparison to the killings committed by the Nazis. What's also interesting here is, by the way, if you go into the history of the bombing of Dresden, what the Nazis also did is they initially leaked misinformation and extremely inflated numbers of victims to the press, which they announced to the world. I think what was going around initially was 200,000 to 300,000 people in Dresden died because the British and the Americans, with their cruelty, came and bombed everything indiscriminately, and they killed 200 to 300,000 people. This was a propaganda tactic applied by Goebbels. And during the current Israel-Hamas war, Hamas did the very same thing.
and here's Mohammed Hijab. No, Churchill was the evil one.
Man.
Tell us what they are.
Hold on. There's
How many in Dresden?
Excuse me. Stop speaking for
How
me.
many in Dresden?
Am I speaking to him or
How
you?
many in Dresden?
Whatever the number.
You don't
if,
know
if
it
it's
all.
indiscriminate,
Okay.
I'm against it.
No, he doesn't.
That's
He doesn't.
my
Rabbi Shmuley, you respond.
Dresden's about 25,000, and at the time, the Germans were saying 250,000. We know it's about 25,000 today.
Ah,
let me be clear. Winston Churchill was the greatest.
Oh, he got it. See? Hey, I think Rabbi Shmuley is watching, by the way. he just tweeted the link to this live stream,
Oh, nice.
to our live stream. He just tweeted it.
Nice.
Hey, very nice to dear Rabbi. Very nice to have you watching. It's good. It's great. I hope to have you here on the channel as well to talk to you in person about all of this. Will be very nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Statesman of the 20th century.
That's
He
an opinion.
saved the world from
I agree.
Nazi terror.
Yeah.
That you could live in a country that is only around today because of the bravery of that man showing no gratitude is the height of
Just-
is the height.
Yeah, and I mean it's the entire world. I mean, look at what Hitler was doing, and the Nazis. I mean, they were dropping bombs on the British, and British could have stayed out of it, and they decided to fight and keep on fighting, and wow, yeah, I don't know what to do, man.
Yeah, and
Shame on
America,
him. Shame on the British. Shame on the British.
America had very big difficulties entering the war, and they eventually found a reason and entered it when they were attacked in a provocation by Japan, and they really accelerated the end of the war by putting great pressure and great, very resilient defense and also attack against the German Nazi Third Reich. So all of that was necessary. But no, here's Mohammed Hijab. He's like, no, they were all war criminals. War criminals. They were all war criminals. I condemn it.
And think about think about how disastrous this could have been. I mean, if British had eventually backed down, then the Nazis came within 50 miles of taking Moscow. They would have they'd have had a one front war over that way, and they'd have won that one. So my goodness, you got a leader that rallied his people. Oh gosh, this guy's a disaster. And this is where Hijab lives. He'd be speaking freaking German right now, having his ancestors having fled Muslim lands to come to Nazi Great Britain. My goodness, what is this? This is a mess.
Well, I recently on a different stream went through the plans of Hitler and the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Amin al-Husseini, who was the major leader of the Palestinian nationalist movement before the creation of Israel, and he met in secret with Hitler, and they made plans together of taking over the Middle East and exterminating the Jews altogether. And the Grand Mufti even said that that all the Arab leaders, he can easily gather them for the cause, and they are all on Hitler's side. Together, they can take out and exterminate the Jews and defeat the British and the Soviets, and then together establish their great ideal. So things would have gone really, really differently in that under that system.
And the guy who's most responsible for stopping that Hijab is condemning him.
Yeah, well, why did he stop it? Why did he stop it? We wanted Hitler to help us. Yeah.
It would have been great if Hitler had conquered the world and united with
we would have killed the Jews.
Jihadis.
Yeah.
The Jihadi Nazi alliance would have been unstoppable.
And to call all this.
To be fair, Hitler also said that he wishes the Germans had Islam, not Christianity.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be Christianity with its meekness and flabbiness? Why not Islam when it glorifies war and bloodshed? Why did we have Islam? That's what Hitler said. So, yeah.
Stick on topic. Stick on topic.
The Nazis. Defeated the Nazis.
Stick on topic.
Stop interrupting me.
Stick on topic.
Defeated the Nazis. War criminals.
Stick on topic.
His parents. All the other people. War criminals.
All right, let me ask
is wrong. No. Let me be clear.
He's saying off topic when he just talked about dildos and vibrators and lubes.
Look, let me be clear here. We're talking about dildos and lube, not war criminals and Nazis. What's wrong with this guy?
Off topic.
Let me
be
clear. Mohammed Hijab trades in falsehoods. 300 to 1. What are you talking
100
about?
to 1.
And now he says the Jews are about to kill 3 million Palestinians.
I didn't say they're about to. I said
the fact that this man considers himself an Oxford academic. I was a rabbi at Oxford University for 11 years. This is a travesty.
Did you graduate from there?
This is a travesty.
He said he was a rabbi there.
Did you graduate from there? Did you graduate from there? Because I graduated from there. I studied there. We have to mention this. We can't just move on from this without mentioning my graduation.
Yeah, and for anyone who's tuning in earlier, we went through Mohammed Hijab. Like the bulk of his case is based on this 100 to 1 ratio, which is either deliberate or just not being able to understand what he's reading. It's the 100 to 1 ratio, and he says, you've killed this number of Hamas and this many civilians, and so it's 100 to 1. The article was specifically referring to Hamas commanders, not Hamas soldiers, and so his entire case is just completely bogus. Like his entire case for the entire exchange is based on him not being able to comprehend a title of an article. Unless he did comprehend it and he's just lying.
Yeah. Some people are saying, "Can you slow down the chat? It's too fast." I can't do anything about it, man. I already have slow mode. I guess we're just not used to the chat being that fast here.
It's not on slow mode, man. Is there?
It is on slow mode.
What? Let me try. Oh no, I don't have slow mode because I'm special.
Yeah, you're special. It doesn't apply to you.
Did you graduate from any university?
I have a rabbinical.
Did you graduate?
Let me answer.
You excommunicated.
Let me answer.
That's why you excommunicated from the rabbis.
I am a rabbinical.
Honestly,
can I speak?
This is pointless.
Go on.
Rabbi Shmuley, is there a limit to the number of civilians in Gaza that Israel can kill to try and
That's
eliminate
a good question.
Hamas?
That's a great question.
Shut up. If it's a good question, let him answer. It's none of your business, man.
I approve of this question. Since I run this show, Piers.
Marian Ranta said, all I took away from the debate was dildos and shaking. Osman's tomato ketchup said, Allah to Islam had a golden age. Now it has golden showers, you see. Yeah. For those who don't know what we're talking about, Mohammed Hijab loves talking about golden showers and all of that. So
the most perverted stuff, talking about, sends people these threats of rape and torture, and sends us messages about golden showers and getting on our knees and this and that. And here, of course, it's lube and dildos, vibrators, all this stuff. And this is it's hilarious. The fact that this guy is so popular is just amazing.
Yeah.
There is.
Thank you. But let me ask you.
Not one beautiful Palestinian child should have to die because Hamas kicked out Mahmoud
That wasn't my
Abbas.
question.
And not one should have to die. What the answer to your question is that Hamas, if they surrender unconditionally, then all of that. Okay, fine.
But is there a limit?
Let them allow all the civilians.
Look at this. He's just holding up the pictures now. While the rabbi is talking, he's holding up the pictures.
Additionally, then
Which they're not
all of
gonna
that.
do.
Okay, fine.
But is
let
there a
them,
limit?
then let them.
Look at this. This is what he does. He has to always be there and take the lead and interrupt and make a point. What he's interrupted, it is bad, but he always has to interrupt in one way or another.
Let them allow all the civilians.
Is there a limit?
Israel said that all the civilians can leave. All the civilians should go south. They begged them, and that's something that militaries never do. Churchill did not tell the people in Dresden, "Come on." And you came with all your notes.
We get the point.
I'm not here.
We get the point, Mohammed. I get the point.
This is
I get
all.
the point.
This is all proof that he can't debate me. So he has to use these images. Debate me. We didn't ask you to come on with all your exhibits.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me ask you a question. A member of the cabinet in Israel was actually quoted as saying that nuclear weapons were an option that Israel could use. No one's ever confirmed Israel has nuclear weapons. It's long been suspected. That seemed pretty clear confirmation.
Why are you against nuclear weapons?
Hang on.
If you're not against Dresden, why are you against?
Oh my God.
Can't let anyone finish a sentence.
The moderator is asking a question. Can you shut up? Man, this guy is just insufferable. It's great that everyone is getting exposed to this now.
Let me ask the question. Let me ask.
No, but why are you against it?
I've done this before, this job. Let me do it.
Go on.
Okay? So when that...
Go on. I give you permission to continue, Piers.
I approve. You can talk. You can
Yes,
talk.
you can talk now.
It's
You
your
can talk
show.
now. You
It's
can
your
talk
show.
now.
It's
I've got
right
you on
now
my.
show.
I've got you on my leash. I've got you on my leash on your show.
I allow it. I will allow it.
A civilian in Gaza. What the hell are you thinking? That an Israeli government member threatens the use of a nuclear weapon, which would obliterate pretty much all of Gaza and everyone in it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the question. If that were true, why hasn't Israel used nuclear weapons against Nasser when he invaded?
it's true.
Well, hold on.
It's true this guy threatened.
And the answer is no. I know the guy, and I spoke to him about it. His name is Amichai Eliyahu. Israel has
Against Nasser was
never
preemptive.
carpet bombed any
Against Nasser was
Arab.
preemptive.
Hang on, Mohammed.
1967
Ever.
questioning.
Now.
1967 was preemptive.
He was asked a question by a provocative interview, and he said, "Well, if you're going to bomb the same thing, it was a Mohammed Hijab type. You want to kill all the Arabs? 3 million people, just drop a bomb." He said, "Well, if you want to drop a bomb, drop a bomb." He was being dismissive and stupid, and he put out a statement the next day saying that never in history would the Jews ever even contemplate doing that. Let's remember one thing:
And he was also, to my knowledge, correct me anybody if I'm wrong, he was also removed from, he was after that statement because of the backlash and because it was completely unbecoming. I think Netanyahu removed him from all meetings about the currently ongoing war.
only
Are you saying something?
No, it's just weird that this gets brought up because we have to deal with this all the time. Anytime we say anything, people will point to something that some Jew said at some point, and then look, you see. And here Piers Morgan's doing it. It's a pretty, it's an hour-long discussion and so on, but he's going to talk about some guy saying it in this context. Oh, well, if here we can just go nuclear, and then the guy takes it, says, "No, I'm not serious. We would never do that." And then this is somehow an issue that needs to be brought up in the discussion.
Yeah. To be fair, the guy is, I believe, he is the minister of some kind, minister of heritage. Nothing, not related to war or or anything at all. But he made such a statement, and then he was rebuked for it. But yeah, It wasn't threatened.
But the day
the
before
Middle
he
East,
did-
one second,
the
Piers.
day before
the
he
only
did come
place,
from
the
the
only
beating.
place in the Middle East where Arabs have any freedoms, Israel. The only place where they vote openly, Israel. The only place where Palestinian women can dress the way they want.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? It's true. Why is he laughing? These are true statements.
Yeah, and we've been through this over and over again. Like, if the jihadis get their way, who takes over? Hamas, an ISIS-like group. Like, is that somehow better in anyone's mind besides the jihadis and Hijab and his fans and so on?
Yeah.
Want Israel. The only, and let's be clear, when Mohammed Hijab gets up and says that we Palestinians want to be a religion of death, you know, I just got a haircut coming here by an Arab barber here in London, and he said to me, I hope you defeat this guy because he doesn't represent us. We want to live. We want to have good lives. We want to be religious.
All
we
right.
want to eat
Let me
halal.
ask-
But we
all
don't
right.
want to die for
Let me-
martyrdom. You are
let
not a
me-
Muslim. You're an Islamist. You're
Let
an
me ask
Islamist.
Mohammed. Let me ask Mohammed a question. Let me ask Mohammed a question.
In Hijab's defense, I think he's following Islam more closely than Rabbi Shmuley is aware. I think basically Rabbi Shmuley has interacted with a lot of nice Muslims, whereas we've interacted with the Dawa guys, and we're thinking more in terms of the sources. And you could say it about particular Muslims and what sources they accept and don't accept, but the sources that Mohammed Hijab and Sunni Muslims in general would point to, Hijab's pretty well in line with them, I would say.
Yeah. Here's also something we mentioned earlier about Mohammed Hijab's tweet at one point, which you can still find, to my knowledge, where he says, "I believe certain anti-Muslim women would wish they lived in the medieval period, a period where if a war was won by the opposing side, it was conventional that people could be taken as booty. Some historical accounts actually say some women would dress up for the captor." So
yeah, Western women who criticize Islam are basically, deep down they're waiting for jihadis to show up and take them as sex slaves.
Yeah.
And they're waiting to dress up and dress up super provocatively for the jihadis, according to Mohammed Hijab.
Which is a very revisionist. Okay, I guess to be fair, he said some historical accounts. Not sure if I can verify those historical accounts at all. But imagine the whole concept, by the way, of this, of what he's talking about here, of taking booty, defeating the enemy, taking the women as slaves and having sex with them. This is not a consensual agreement. This is not something where you go and find women and you're like, "Hey, I find you attractive. Would you like to become my concubine?" And the woman is like, "Oh, okay, let me think. Yeah, okay, I agree." No, you defeat these people through violence. You capture them, you obtain them, and then against their will, you intimidate them. Against their will, under distress, you then have sex with them. There is not very much of a difference between that and raping somebody outside. Not too much difference. Or using your status to intimidate a woman and to rape her. So in both situations, you humiliate and capture somebody and strip them of their freedoms and then have non-consensual sex with them. You rape them. That is what is happening here. And Mohammed Hijab has no problem with it. He's okay with it. He's cool. He likes it.
Yeah, and the only possible defense is that the ancient world was kind of a different place, and sometimes you'd have the men, they all die in battle, and so the women would need to be absorbed, or they die or something like that. This is not the Islamic concept. They would take the women, rape them, have them as their sex slaves, and then sell them at the next town and so on. So this is not hey, someone it's a regrettable feature of war that there are women who will now die unless they're taken in by their captors and so on. It's women who are captured with their husbands. They're not going to die. And it's women, you're not taking them in to take care of them. You're taking them in as sex slaves and you're selling them in the next town.
Yeah. If they are married, their marriage is annulled because they now belong to you and you can do with them whatever they want. That is the idea.
Hamas has 240
See, you watched my debate last week.
Hamas has 240 hostages they took, including babies,
Sure,
young kids,
sure.
grandmothers who survived the Holocaust.
Yeah.
I mean, an unspeakable further criminal
Yeah.
act. We can agree, right?
Of course.
Why should Israel agree to any?
Okay, so here he actually agreed that this is an unspeakable criminal act, because that's what Piers Morgan just said, and he said, yeah, of course. So this just brings to mind something here, a big problem. Recently, somebody that we all know commented on people who condemn what Hamas did on October 7th. Do you know who I'm talking about, David?
That would be Daniel Hakikachu, who, oddly enough, has been one of Mohammed Hijab's biggest fans here recently. So I don't know how this is going to play out.
It's very strange. Mohammed Hijab and Daniel Hakikachu have been very good friends lately. And Daniel Hakikachu has been blasting others while praising Mohammed Hijab. And here is a tweet, a very controversial one by Daniel Hakikachu, which says, remember, the only people condemning October 7 are bloodthirsty Zionists. A Muslim who condemns October 7 is a hypocrite and a traitor to Islam. A non-Muslim who condemns October 7 does not believe Palestinians have a right to live and defend themselves against Israeli ethnic cleansing.
5,900 likes.
So people who condemn what happened that day are bloodthirsty Zionists and traitors to Islam. But Mohammed Hijab just condemned it and also said that it is an unspeakable crime.
And it's crazy. I mean, think about this. I mean, if you're a Muslim and you say what Hamas did, killing those people, women and children, the rape, if you say that is wrong, you're a hypocrite and a traitor to Islam. This is very strong language, and you may have followed it, but I don't know all the details. But Shamsi, who's a Salafi, but he's on the I think he's on the nicer end of the Salafi spectrum. What I saw in the discussion on Twitter was that it was because he had condemned Hamas and said that Hamas was wrong, and that he got beat up just on the street in London by Salafis who basically had the same mindset as Daniel Hakikachu here. Again, I haven't confirmed that. That's just what people were saying on Twitter. But I mean, think about this. When Daniel Hakikachu says something like this, that has real world implications as far as his fans seeing someone say, hey, I condemn Hamas. Okay, you're a traitor and a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. You notice, by the way, guys, if you don't know how serious this is, when you call someone a hypocrite, I mean, there are commands to wage jihad against hypocrites and traitors to Islam.
Yeah. You're right. There was a video that went around where Shamsi was beat up in the street by people who Shamsi said were Muslims who beat him up because of his opposition to what Hamas did. So they took the word of Daniel Hakikachu and others and went there and beat him up. Now, to be fair, I wouldn't necessarily call Shamsi a nicer Salafi or traditionalist, but what he is he is a loyalist Salafi, or they call them madkhalis. They are people who are more in line with let us have traditional Salafi Islam, but let us respect the rulers in charge, the authorities in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and so on. No criticism of the rulers. Let's follow diplomacy and all that. So that's their thinking. And Daniel Hakikachu and Mohammed Hijab are very much against that strain of Salafis. They don't want to be loyalists. They are the more extremists. So...
yeah, and guys, for anyone who doesn't know who Daniel Hakikachu is, he is the world's leading defender of child marriage. He approves of wife beating. He approves of all the things that we point out.
Yeah, powerful stuff. Powerful stuff.
But he just condemned Mohammed Hijab. Let's all hope that Mohammed Hijab is safe from Daniel's goons.
Hostages are still being kept hostage.
Look, my position is very clear. They should fight man to man on the ground. On the ground.
Well, they are.
That fighting.
That's exactly what they're doing.
That fighting, no one can. This is
Mohammed. That's exactly what they're doing.
I know.
Man to man, they took hostages.
Excuse me.
They took babies as hostages.
He's asked me the question.
They took infants as hostages.
Let him answer the question.
You're getting excited here. I know it's your sexuals
you know-
are
you know-
implying you're the sex
No,
rabbi.
look.
You're back
You're
to,
the sex
my
rabbi.
sex
Leave
life.
it.
You're getting
Please.
overexcited.
Leave
Get
it,
your head out of my
Mohammed.
bedroom,
Getting
Mohammed.
overexcited
It's
with the
really
topic.
beneath you.
He's getting excited with me.
Let me ask the
disgusting,
question.
honestly.
You
He always has.
He's
Again,
getting
we're back to
excited.
sex.
He's getting excited like Daniel around a child. Like Daniel around an 11-month-old.
He can't resist without going back to sex. And
No.
man,
You guys answer them. Mohammed, answer my question. Why, if you're Israel, would you ever agree to a ceasefire if those hostages aren't released?
I'm telling you what my position is. My position is man-to-man combat.
Which is what they're doing now.
No, that part of it is understandable. Do you understand?
That's what they're doing.
No problem. But what I think is not understandable.
so that's understandable. That's good. That's good. So Mohammed Hijab doesn't blame or condemn Israel for going and fighting Hamas and killing them man to man. So that's good. That's something.
Hey, we should ask Daniel Hakikachu. Say, hey, Mohammed Hijab says it's completely understandable for the IDF to kill Hamas man to man. Do you agree or not, Daniel?
Do you think he's a traitor to the Ummah?
What is not acceptable, because you said, what's a proportionate response? That's the question you keep asking everybody. My answer to you is a proportionate response is one where in which the ratios are not 100 to 1.
It isn't.
Excuse
It's
me.
not, liar.
And again, we debunked it at the very beginning. There is no such ratio. He made it up. He misunderstood it. So his entire objection here is false flat, is unfounded, is broken, and he doesn't get it.
And again, it's most of his case that he appeals to throughout this entire exchange. And Rabbi Shmuley called him out earlier. Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from? And yeah, it's made up.
Yeah. What he did is he references one report which says Israel claims to have slain 60-odd senior and mid-level Hamas leaders. Here, Israel claims to have slain 60-odd senior and mid-level Hamas leaders, and he understood this as have slain Hamas members, not Hamas leaders, which is why he thinks most are civilians killed by Israel, and that's why they are keeping this this high ratio, like 100 to 1. He misunderstood it. He completely misunderstood it, misrepresented it, and his entire argument is built on this.
Hey, please.
Where does that come from?
I'll
What's
tell
the
you
source?
what. Okay,
Tell me the source. Tell me the source.
IDF.
Oh, here we go.
I can't go your
IDF.
tongue.
Yeah, sure. Tell
Can't
me
go your
when.
tongue.
When did they say it?
They said,
I know all the IDF
No, you
spokespersons.
don't.
I know
it.
Jonathan
Daniel
Conricus.
Hagari.
Daniel Hagari said what? When?
Okay, so let me
say,
explain.
No.
Excuse me.
Say, when did he say we're killing Palestinians 100 to 1?
10 days ago, and it's mentioned on a website. I'll tell you
The
website.
truth is, they don't.
He never said this is pure fabrication.
Let me finish. You asked me the
Which
source.
website?
You asked me the source.
Which website?
You asked me the source.
Al Jazeera?
No.
Is it Al Jazeera?
Advertisement starts playing on that website that I just opened.
You've asked me a question, right?
Okay.
Are you scared to hear the response?
Go ahead.
Okay, the response is as follows. The Guardian has reported that the IDF have said that in terms of the numbers of Hamas that have been killed, I'm answering this question.
I know.
Notice he said members of Hamas.
What is he reacting to?
I'm answering his question.
Was Piers making a sign or something? This is amazing.
He's probably doing this or something.
Yeah.
Been killed. I'm answering this question. The Hamas that have been killed. They
Hey,
say,
we need to cut. Hey, you need to cut. You need to cut that for a sound effect. Why is stuttering? Why is stuttering?
have said that in terms of the numbers of Hamas that have been killed, I'm answering this question. The Hamas that have been killed, they say, quote unquote, dozens. Now listen.
Hamas or civilians? You said civilians.
No,
Wait a minute.
You said civilians.
Wait a
Well,
minute.
I'm telling you where I got the 100 to 1 ratio.
Mohammed.
100 to 1 ratio comes from
The numbers have
There's
dramatically.
10,000 civilians.
The numbers have-
60. It's actually more than
Okay. So, what does the report say according to him? According to the Guardian,
60 Hamas, only 60 members of Hamas.
or dozens, or 60, or members of Hamas, and that is not true. We have just shown it. That's not what was said.
Leaders. It's the leaders who've been killed.
Yeah, the IDF declared that they killed dozens of Hamas leaders, or 60-odd Hamas leaders. That's what they said. It's not Hamas members; it is Hamas leaders. So here's the Guardian article, actually, which he references. Here's the article he references. It says here Israeli airstrikes on Gaza have killed dozens of Hamas
commanders,
commanders.
IDF, and he says, "Look, I'm quoting the IDF. They says they've killed 60 members of Hamas."
Yeah.
So again, notice he either knows what the article says and he's being deliberately deceptive, or he is so incredibly incompetent that he literally cannot read a headline and get it right.
And he mentioned this so many times now during this conversation. I mean, we are halfway through, and he mentioned it
30, 40 times?
Several times. And he repeatedly builds his case on this idea, on saying Israel says that they do a 100-to-1 ratio, that they killed only so few Hamas members. He got it wrong. The article doesn't say they have killed dozens of Hamas members. It says they have killed dozens of Hamas commanders. And this is what he prepared. This is what he thought would be a great idea. This is what he went with. This is what he prepared when he went to the show. Mohammed Hijab debunked in 5 seconds. So.
As soon as you call him out on anything, he has no sources. He has
no one can hear what you're
sources.
saying.
Okay.
Let me respond to him.
This is a blood libel, Piers. The Jews have a right to respond
I'm about
to a blood
question
libel.
him.
It's a blood libel.
Here's the reality. I read that report. That was about at least 2 weeks ago, right?
10 days, yeah.
The numbers have changed a lot.
Yes, they have.
Israel now believe they've killed a lot more Hamas. They don't know exactly how many, because actually, how do you tell on the ground?
By the way, Piers,
to a Hamas fighter and a member of the general population?
Do you know, according to the IDF, and we've done a study on the name that they put on X, they had 1,280 names that they put on X, and according to Haaretz, they put Haaretz is as you know, is a left-wing newspaper in Israel. They also put the names of those who have been killed. Guess what? According to them, 340 military have been killed, which means Hamas's ratio of combatant to non-combatant is 3-to-1.
All right.
Imagine Hamas is doing a better job in protecting civilians than Israel. 3-to-1.
I would say,
what in the how does it even?
Yeah. By the way, notice he just admitted, because he did keep it hypothetical quite a bit with if someone is killing civilians, but sounds like he just acknowledged that they killed it mostly civilians.
Yeah, but the thing is, how does he even get to that conclusion? I don't even get it. That doesn't follow at all.
He's saying that Israel is killing with this 100-to-1 ratio. And I don't know if I heard him correctly, but it sounds like he was saying that of the 1,200 or so who were killed, 300 and some were IDF, and therefore their ratio is much better than the IDF killing ratio is, even though that's something he just made it up because he can't read a headline correctly.
Yeah, so here's actually what he's referencing. Here is the Haaretz article, which, by the way, lots of idiots out there deny that civilians were killed. They say all of them were IDF or most were IDF, but here is Haaretz publishing the names of people who were killed by Hamas on October 7. And it is still limited because so the IDF or Israel is identifying the victims. They are nearly through with the identification, but some names have not been cleared for publication yet. But those who have been cleared are here, and you can filter it, and you can see there are 773 civilians were killed of those identified, soldiers 332. And then you have police 59, emergency services 13. So these are the current numbers according to the information presented by Haaretz. This is what he is referencing. But mostly civilians were killed, targeted and killed by Hamas.
But it's not 100-to-1, which I made up.
And by the way, there's also a huge difference here, which is not being discussed, but which I think, I don't know, is obvious to me. What Hamas did that day is not to randomly fire and then, kill civilians in crossfire. What they did is to directly target civilians. What Israel did, Israel is not targeting civilians. Hamas directly targets civilians. You could say, if you want to go that far and you want to accuse the IDF of killing civilians, you could say they are being reckless and they are, causing civilian deaths while they are firing at Gaza and at Hamas, which is weird because Israel for weeks now told the people primarily in the north to evacuate and said you will die You will be harmed if you stay there. Get out now. It is a war zone. But Hamas, on the other hand, did not do this. Hamas directly went and targeted civilians, directly shot at civilians, man to man, or man to woman, or man to child. Hamas members went there and shot at the civilians and killed them there on the spot.
And those soldiers are soldiers who are coming to protect those civilians. That's who, yes. And you've got, by that time, Hamas jihadis on roofs and shooting out of windows and stuff. And the soldiers who are coming to protect people get killed, as compared to Hamas soldiers who are hiding amongst civilians to get the civilians killed.
Yeah. Hamas had the primary goal of killing as many people as possible. So, yeah, there is not even a comparison.
I would say that Hamas, by what they did on October the 7th.
100 to 1 versus 3 to 1.
Wait a minute.
Math.
Wait a minute.
Math.
100 to 1.
Ordered,
That's math. That's math, Piers.
They ordered de facto the disintegration of northern Gaza that we're seeing.
Of course.
And
all the civilians
and the deaths
suffering.
Have you seen
the deaths of thousands of civilians.
Let him finish.
They knew what was going to happen.
I agree.
So that's why they should go.
Piers,
Rabbi Shmuley.
in 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza and allowed, Hamas won an election in 2006. They could have built Singapore. You know what they did? They took larger foreign aid per capita than all of Europe received from the Marshall Plan. And look what France and Britain, look how beautiful London is. They took that money and they bought bullets and bombs. They did not build hospitals, not schools. They stole it from the Palestinian people. Ismail Haniyeh is worth $4 billion.
I don't care about
Khalid Mashal is worth $4 billion.
Can Piers just shut up and... Why is he jumping in for Mohammed Hijab and saying he's not protecting them? He is protecting them, basically. That's basically what's happening here. But you have to take Hamas into the consideration if you want to blame the IDF here, and you want to blame them for causing civilian deaths. And actually, Mohammed Hijab just praised Hamas. He just praised Hamas, just not even less than a minute ago. But we heard it early. We heard it from Hamas themselves. Hamas does not care about protecting their civilian population. They say that is the job of the United Nations and of Israel. We don't care about protecting the civilian population. They are refugees. In another speech, they said that we are a nation of martyrs. So it is expected that we suffer and that our people die. Nevertheless, we will continue doing this again and again and again. Hamas does not care about the Palestinian civilians. And they say it openly. And that's the problem. It's not Israel here. And one other issue is, as Rabbi Shmuley points out, Hamas had the means to develop something great. Israel was also in a position, Israel has been in a position for nearly a century now, or 3/4 of a century, where they are constantly under threat, constantly attacked. Did they spend this whole time spending everything on warfare? No. They built one of the most advanced nations in the world, which is a major contributor to global development, to science, and so on. They did this despite being under constant pressure, despite being constantly at war, constantly at conflict.
Hamas despite having recently just been genocided. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, and so and Douglas Murray pointed out that this is part of the rage against them. From the jihadi perspective, we've got the final prophet, we've got the last revelation, we've got it all, and we just can't make anything work. And these Jews come along, and suddenly, they build a superior country to what we're dealing with, and it enrages them. By the way, you got a request to sing this. You don't know the song, do you?
That's the way Allah. No, I don't know what that is.
The song is "That's the way Allah Mo likes it." Allah. Yeah.
Oh, that okay. Yeah, I don't know that. Petrus Eckstein said, "This may be enough for half a coffee for AP, which is Rabbi would just open each 1-minute statement by reading a different Quran first, like 9:29. I should have a long conversation with Rabbi Shmuley about that." Sanke said this should be called Piers being a cuck for. Don't say that. This is very, 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 very disrespectful. Piers Morgan is trying his best here.
Yeah, he is. I mean, by the way, that's Hijab's goal: put people in situations where they don't quite know what to do.
Yeah. Dehydrated Pie said Mimi's whole argument is 100-to-1 ratio, and again, that is a complete failure. Complete failure.
Yeah, it would be one thing if he had like a bunch of main points and that was some insignificant sub point. It's his main point.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Why are you talking
then
about
call him. Call him
I don't
an
need to
evil
call him
criminal.
anything. I
You're
don't need
afraid
to call him anything.
because he won't. See, he will never condemn
call him.
Hamas because
He has condemned
No,
Hamas.
go ahead.
I have
heard him do it.
Excuse me.
Wait, no. He
He
Oh
did-
no, yeah, he just said he has, right? So he did.
Okay,
because we've heard it, and he was obviously keeping things hypothetical because he doesn't want to upset the Daniel Hakikachu crowd and suffer the same fate as Shamsi. But there, he just said, "What are you talking about?" I did.
So by saying I did, he is hereby affirming that he condemns Hamas for what they did.
That's what I think I heard.
Daniel Hakikachu. Maybe we should all contact Daniel Hakikachu and ask him what he thinks of this, because according to Daniel Hakikachu, anybody who condemns what Hamas did on October 7 is a bloodthirsty Zionist or a traitor to Islam.
Yeah, someone can easily take the relevant clips from here where he condemns Hamas and acknowledges that he condemned Hamas, and you title your video, Daniel Hakikachu calls Mohammed Hijab a traitor to Islam and a hypocrite. Bam. Viral video.
Bam.
Viral video.
Bam. Let's see.
Viral video.
Viral video. Bam. Condemned, whatever. Yeah, we just showed it. So, yeah.
condemned
This is too
Hamas's
much now.
attack. He's
How many
never
times?
condemned Hamas.
Well, let me ask you, do you condemn Hamas?
On what basis?
Here we go. See?
No, hold on.
Well,
Play
Do
the
you
game.
accept now
Let me
that they are...
ask you a question.
Every
No,
answer
hold
is on what basis? On what this? On what this? What's your source?
Let him
Even
answer.
if you ask me, if you do condemn the IDF, I'd say specify your context. In what exact context do I...
To defend Hamas as a terrorist organization
Yes, yes,
that just went and killed 1,200 people, burned them alive, beheaded them, and took 250
Stop
hostages.
pointing at me. Calm
condemn them or not? Do you condemn them or not?
Calm down.
Head into
Calm
the
down.
debate, you condemn them or not? See, this is a debating tactic.
It's
him answer.
2-on-1 now.
Let him
It's
answer.
2-on-1. It's become 2-on-1.
Let him answer.
Look at this. Now, he's a victim.
now he's victim. Now he's the victim. Of course. Now he's the victim. He's the victim now. They're all against him. It's 2-on-1.
And notice the hypocrisy. He keeps dialing it up, yelling and stuff like this, and then in response, calm down. Oh, look, I'm a victim. Being attacked 2-on-1.
Victim, but now it's 2-on-1.
Victim.
Stop the victim. You love portraying yourself as a strong man. Now you're a victim. It's 2-on-1. You probably could take 2-on-1 So answer it. Answer the question. Is Hamas a terror organization you condemn? Yes
Is that
or no?
something you and your
Is
daughter
Hamas
said?
a terror organization?
Whoa.
Look
Did
at
you hear
this.
that?
Look at this. Look
What
at
a
he just said.
scumbag. Absolute scumbag.
So everything could pass as funny that happened so far, all the sexual references, but pay attention to what he said here. I think he's going to repeat it.
Can take 2-on-1.
That you
It's a reasonable question because you
Okay,
asked me...
sure.
Hamas.
Pay attention to what he's saying here.
Answer it. Answer the question. Is Hamas a terror organization you condemn? Yes
Is that
or no?
something you and your
Is
daughter
Hamas
said?
a terror organization
Probably can
that
take
you
2-on-1.
that you
It's a reason.
Says your daughter can take 2-on-1.
He says, "Is that something you and your daughter think? Probably take 2-on-1?" That's what he says. What kind of a suggestion is he making here? A sexual suggestion about the rabbi and his daughter 2-on-1.
Now notice, I mean, my goodness, they're having a debate about a very important conflict that the entire world is interested in right now. And it's what about your daughter? You and your daughter take 2-on-1. Ha ha.
This so far until this point, I would say this is funny. This is entertaining. This is funny. The references that he brings up. It's quite messed up and completely not what should be part of a debate. But it's funny. But this here, this remark. Speaking to the rabbi about the Israel-Palestine conflict, about the Israel-Hamas war, and then making a suggestion about him and his daughter sexual taking 2-on-1. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, this is what you do. This is what you do in a situation like that. You go, what is that? Nope. Okay, so every time you mention daughter, every time you mention it, gonna dial it up, Hijab. That's how I would roll.
it's 2-on-1. You probably could take 2-on-1. So answer it. Answer the question. Is Hamas a terror organization you condemn?
Is that something you and your
Is
daughter
Hamas
said?
a terror organization
Probably can take 2-on-1.
that you?
Look at him grinning too, like he's funny. Only amusing to his fans. They love it.
Yeah.
It's a reasonable question.
Somebody said, I didn't hear daughter. Didn't you hear? He just said it again. He says daughter.
hear
You
it?
and your daughter. You and your daughter. 2-on-1.
Is that something
clear.
you and
Is
your daughter
Hamas
said?
a
You
terror
and your daughter.
You and your daughter.
Probably can take 2-on-1.
that you?
It's a reasonable question because you
Okay,
asked me,
sure.
is the IDF a terror
Okay, beautiful. I'll answer your question.
You know what's interesting? If he said what he just said to a regular Muslim man, this would probably turn into a physical fight here. The man would probably get up and beat him up. From how sensitive this issue is among Muslim families, Muslim people.
Yeah, and guys, keep in mind, these guys are setting the bar. I'm not telling you to act like they do, but for those of you who like to, keep things consistent and escalate to a comparable level with him and his friends, they think it's fine to talk about someone's daughter taking 2-on-1.
Yeah.
That's where they set the bar.
Now, to be honest, I got much worse stuff from Mohammed Hijab personally, although I didn't expect him to say this on such a show in front of thousands of viewers, in front of Piers Morgan
on a very serious topic, right? This is a very serious topic, and it's all dildos, vibrators, 2-on-1, your daughter.
Yeah,
This guy's scum, man.
Absolute scum. But this is the kind of stuff that he said to me in the past. Why would this incest-endorsing Islamophobe, completely false, who may be attempting to sexually lure his sister as we speak, dedicate an entire channel trying to attack Islam, and when confronted for a fair debate, rejects the offer more quickly than his sister would reject him if he offered?
Wait, didn't you agree to debate him and then he backed out?
This was before that, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, this was before that. Since he sees it as morally acceptable, which is false, I wonder if the inbred apostate has any nephews, sons. No, I didn't mean nephews or sons. I meant both at the same time. So instead of pointing the finger at Islam and the Muslim community, a finger he will surely need to fulfill his conjugal obligations, or indeed the incestuous activity he may be engaged in with mommy and sister. The apostate needs to thoroughly review his own morals. So this is the kind of stuff that he said to me in the past.
Yeah, and he always goes there. And notice the reason he keeps going like this is his fans love it. We'd be in a completely different world if his fans didn't approve of this. But I mean, this is a guy who has over 1 million followers on YouTube, and they love this. This is amazing.
Yeah. And another thing here is he thinks this is humiliating to me. It's very funny, actually. Since he sees incest as morally fine, which again I don't, I wonder if inbred Rizvan has attempted to lure his mom into sexual activity. The arguments for deformed babies may put him off actual penetration, but what about using his massive nose as the main instrument? Would that be moral?
Isn't that amazing? Everything is your wife, your daughter, your mother. Ha 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 ha. And guys, I mean, here's this is just reality. He's going to keep doing this, and then over time, people are going to escalate in response. And then what's he going to do? He's going to claim to be the victim. Look how everyone's responding to me. Look what they're doing. Oh my goodness, I can't believe they're talking to me like this. Crybaby.
I wonder if the rabbi saw these things here.
Might be seeing them now.
I should show that to him.
You should be sharing these over and over again on Twitter.
Hamas is as much a terrorist organization. No, Hamas shouldn't be called a terror organization if the IDF isn't. Why? Okay. Because if it's either both or not.
There we are. This is either both or
no, it's not. No, it's not.
Extrapolate your position because you believe the IDF is, then you're also saying that Hamas is.
Let me tell you my position.
And say it.
He always has to twist it.
Yeah.
Of course, and he also says, if you ask me to condemn the IDF, I would also say on what basis. I'm pretty sure if you asked him, is the IDF a terrorist organization, he would just say yes. You know,
It sounds like here a little bit later. It sounds like he's saying both are. I think.
But he
always tries to keep it vague to try and appease the Daniel Hakikatu crowd, but
and that is a tactic, right? He does it for a reason. He could simply sit there and simply ask the question, do you think Hamas is a terrorist organization? Yes. There is no need at all to explain, to make to reference what the IDF is by that standard and on what basis they are a terrorist organization. None of that is relevant. The question is very simple. Is Hamas a terrorist organization? Yes or no? If he thinks yes, nobody cares what his reasoning is, then just say yes. But he doesn't. He has to twist it, make it vague, play around, fool around, so he doesn't have to, explicitly say they are terrorists and thereby anger his fellow Muslim apologists. This is all he does. Playing games, dishonesty.
Say it.
I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to speak.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me get the answer.
The unholy Shmuley won't let me speak.
Right, I'm asking you a question.
At least that was funny. That was the first rhyme you did the whole time. You could be friends.
Let me ask
Shmuley.
I like how he said this was actually funny.
Get the answer.
The unholy Shmuley won't let me speak.
Right, I'm asking you a question.
At least that was funny. That was the first rhyme you did the whole time. Maybe you could be friends.
I love how he said, at least that was funny.
Let me ask you
again.
Given you've already stated you believe the IDF is a terror organization.
Yeah.
Am I to assume
legally or morally?
that you believe...
Legally or morally?
Well, hang on.
Go on.
Am I to assume that you believe Hamas is now?
No, this is my position. But you have to give me 10 seconds at least to answer, right? Legally, I think you shouldn't call Hamas a terrorist organization if you're not calling IDF a terrorist organization. That's my position. But
nobody cares what people... The question is about you. You see why he doesn't answer the question, right? The question is about you. What do you think? But he can't answer the question. He has to twist it, has to take it to the IDF again.
You do both.
Hold on.
Call them terror.
Hold on.
Let him answer.
Hold on, let me finish. Because as we said, the UN definition of what a terrorist organization is to kill civilians in order to achieve a political objective.
That's not what the definition is, by the way. So,
however, on a moral and theological, philosophical level, I agree with Rosalind Higgins, who was the justice of the International Criminal Court, right? The Court of Justice, ICJ, a British justice. By the way, she was a Holocaust survivor as well. She was Jewish.
Yeah.
And her position is that she believes that the word terrorism or terrorist is actually useless. And she says that I'm putting to her...
Can you answer my question?
He's going on just to evade the question.
Let me finish. So I'm answering your question. So I'm saying that as a moral construct, I think it's a neo-colonial social construct used by people in order to label some people as terrorists and other people as well. So as a moral category, I don't designate it as a moral category.
I would, after seeing him completely get so many things wrong while supposedly citing sources, when he cites a source that I haven't looked up, it's like I don't trust him at all at this point. When he will cite an article as a proof for his main case, and literally all you have to do is read the headline, let alone the rest of the article. And he can't get that right. And then he's, what about this woman who said this? Maybe it's like, I would have to say, Mohammed Hijab, anything you are quoting, I need to see it in advance to take it seriously, because I can't take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm really genuinely interested in, so there is no one UN definition of terrorism, but there is apparently a definition that was established during a certain resolution 1566 in 2004, and I really want to see if he's actually right about that definition. So,
legal category.
Do you believe? Do you personally, Mohammed, do you believe that the IDF and Hamas are both terror organizations?
I think yes. If you say yes to IDF, you should say yes to Hamas. If you say no to IDF,
that's what I'm asking you. What you
Hamas
believe?
is a terrorist organization.
What you believe?
God, he again responds with, if you say. Nobody is asking that. We're asking what you think.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like if I say, hey, Mohammed Hijab, do you like donuts? And he goes, well, if you're no, do you like donut? Well, if so and so like no, do you? It's just weird.
If you say yes to IDF, you can say yes to Hamas.
Let me.
Yes.
No, I'm asking you what you believe.
Yes, I believe legally, according to the definition,
won't answer
if you
it,
say
for
yes to
God's
Hamas,
sake.
you can say yes
Piers,
to the IDF.
Piers.
Yes.
He has still not answered the question. He has still not answered the question. This is like you're asking me, do you think stealing is bad? Well, legally, I think if you say that this is bad, then yes, that is also bad. Yes. I haven't answered the question hereby. I hereby haven't answered the question at all. That's what he did here.
Piers, we could go on for the next.
We are going to the
But
next.
if you say no to the
We can go on
IDF,
for the
you
next
can't say
100 years.
you
Fine.
can't-
We're going to
Yeah.
the next. We're going to the next block. But that's interesting.
But morally, I don't believe the category has any weight.
No, but you
morally,
have.
it has no designation.
But you have.
All right. So morally, it has no weight. So therefore, according to him, Hamas is not a terrorist organization, and the IDF, I guess, is also not, unless he wants it to be a terrorist organization. That's it. So none of this makes any sense. This entire conversation is completely useless. Mohammed Hijab doesn't blame any side here, or doesn't think that there are any moral implications here. What is even the point? This is just complete dishonesty. He's just arguing from a point of dishonesty. There's no reasoning with this guy.
No, and we already know that. We've seen that before. Like his main goal in any interaction is to show that he's strong and dominant, to impress his followers who are impressed by that sort of thing.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going through the resolution right now, and I don't see a single definition. I don't know if I'm just not paying attention to it. Concerning threats to terrorism, all its forms, deeply concerned by the increased number of victims of children, and so on. Counterterrorism. I'm skimming through it as fast as I can, but I just don't see any definition here. I searched for anything that mentions terrorism, but it doesn't actually mention a definition. And the United Nations doesn't have an official definition of what terrorism is. So
Of course they do. Hijab just said it. And you can trust whatever Hijab says, because I mean, he's as accurate in his source citing as someone as great as Daniel Hakikachu.
Yeah, and here we are at the end of it. So if somebody wants to correct me, if I'm just missing it, and there is actually an official UN definition of terrorism, just please point me at it, and I will correct it. If Mohammed Hijab is right about it, I will acknowledge it. If not, then we have to point it out, I guess. I don't know.
Which is that you believe they're both terror organizations.
I believe that according to the law, absolutely.
Okay, and that's interesting to me.
According to the law, absolutely. Piers, he didn't answer the question, bro. Piers Morgan, he did not answer the question.
Okay,
But I have to say,
wait. Let's come to
when
the
you
next.
call the IDF a terror organization, the IDF keeps 1.8 million Arabs
It's his
alive
opinion.
in Israel.
100 to 1
The
ratio.
Hamas, this is invention.
100 to 1. He's back to 100 to 1.
Get more pictures out. It's unbelievable.
Rabbi, this could
This
be
is
your
how
son.
you lose a
Your son in
debate
the
when
IDF.
me can bring. I
Your
brought
son is in the
nothing with me.
IDF. He could be this. He could be like this.
My son
He
is.
could be dead like that.
My son is in the IDF.
Now he's talking about his son.
Safety of a
He could be-
student.
Daughters, sons, mothers, wives, cousins. That's all he talks about.
He's going to make another sexual reference here, I think, that I noticed earlier, a very messed up one. So.
Talking about how you want to do martyrdom, you're really risking your life here,
whatever.
Mom. You're big talk.
Your
you
son
talk
could
a
be
lot.
dead right now, like
You
this boy.
attack Ben Shapiro's
Your
wife.
son is an IDF.
You actually
Could be dead right now.
You actually posted
Could
a
be
clip
dead right
saying
now.
that. Someone else saying that
Would you
Islam
like your
teaches
son to
you
be
how to
returned
get
in a black
women
bag?
to listen to their husbands.
Your
This
son
is
could
all
be returned in a
false,
black
false
bag.
bravado, false machismo.
Your son,
if you're a
Mendy,
real man,
could
go
be
to the
dead.
Middle East and fight. What are you doing in a
do you mean?
television
All right,
studio?
fight with him.
Can we move to the last one? which
You
is-
should be there. You have the right to fight with
No,
the
I'm
IDF.
not.
You use your son as a human
All right.
shield.
You
He's
try
using
to
his son as a
bully
human
people
shield.
in debates, and it's being allowed.
He's
in this-
using his son as a
this-
human
and it's
shield.
not-
I want
this
to
is
move to the
ridiculous.
last.
God, this is...
It would be funny if I'd like to see Piers just like give recaps along the way. It's like, okay, Mohammed, so far we've got your case 100 to 1, totally made up, dildos, lube, vibrator in the pocket, and now son. So thank you, Hijab, for this enlightening discussion.
Last ironically themed subject. Is peace possible? Okay. Not on this basis, right? But we've got to try and get to peace. So you get a minute each again. Mohammed, you'll go first this time. So you get a minute from now.
Okay, so I just want to say that this man is...
No. Is peace
Instantly, this man, is peace possible? Well, let me start by this man talking about his daughter and his son, and the vibrator in his pocket. and lube 100-1.
What's very
I
funny
now
is
rest my airtight case.
what's funny what's funny is Rabbi Shmuley has been trolling Mohammed Hijab since the debate. He posted this. Mohammed Hijab seen here helping us promote our new kosher sex Mojab line of sexual products. He's emerged as our single most successful pitchman for kosher sex, lubricants, and vibrators, which he repeatedly brought up in the Piers Morgan debate on Israel. In recognition of his nonstop and obsessive and absolutely bizarre references to these sexual products in the debate, which we trust have been too useful to him to address any issue he may be having. We are actually launching the all new Mojab line of products over the next few days. We're serious. Stay tuned. Now is the time for you to get your Mojab.
Hey, didn't you start the term Mojab back in the day?
I did, but
classic.
It's easy. It's easy. So maybe you could independently get to it. I don't know.
I have to say, because this is funny, but I have to say, like, we want to behave. We generally want to behave better than these guys, but at the same time, it's like that they only respect and respond seriously to people who kind of put them in their place. So I have to say, if I don't know, there's part of me, it's like, hey, things are inappropriate. We need to keep our behavior at a good level. There's another part of me going, he just talked about this guy's daughter, 2-on-1 and son dying and so on. I don't know. There's a part of me that says Photoshop that microphone with something else that Mohammed Hijab's been talking about for a while. Since you're this is an ad. Hey, anyone, if anyone who's watching right now, wants, we still got around 3,000. If anyone wants to use their Photoshop skills,
that's a good. David, you should help.
I'm not gonna do it. But if anyone were to do it, that would, I don't know, that would.
You should help with the marketing. That's a brilliant idea. I didn't think of that at all. Wait. Oh yeah, here's another video that came up. Let's see.
I'm being stopped all over the streets of London. Here I am with my daughter Hannah in front of Tower Bridge, which I consider the most beautiful bridge in the world. Hannah doesn't.
No, not exactly.
But we are here to announce we're so grateful to our brother, Mohammed Hijab, for continually... Thanks, Mohammed. For continually promoting Hannah's kosher sex company based on the book that I wrote. And especially the lubricants that he spoke about.
Oh, that's right, the super slippery ones.
Super slippery ones.
Couldn't handle the facts, so I had to go after my dad's kids.
So in honor and in recognition and in gratitude for Mohammed continually giving your company international promotion, what are we doing, Hannah?
We're having a discount, a Mohammed Hijab discount.
There's a new Mohammed Hijab discount code. You go to kosher.sex, right?
Kosher.sex. At the checkout, you can put in Mo Hijab.
Mohijab, M-O-H-I-J-A-B. Okay?
So your sex can be both holy and hot.
Right. Or it could be, listen, it's even better the way Mohammed said it. It could be unholy Shmuley. The unholy Shmuley sex is even better than the...
They actually started a discount code Mohijab, which you can enter to get a 10% discount.
I like how he's responding to this whole thing. Notice he could have been walking out and complaining and claiming to be the victim, and instead he launches the Mohammed Hijab line of products and the discount code. His daughter's doing a great job too, just making fun of these guys. But I mean, seriously, I mean, this is amazing. You've got almost 2 billion Muslims in the world. Who gets pushed forward as their representative to debate Rabbi Shmuley? And it's this guy. It's Mohammed Hijab and the vibrators and dildos and lube. And what about your daughter taking 2-on-1? Ha ha! And this is in a discussion about the Israeli Hamas conflict.
I love this guy now.
I love everyone involved. I love Piers. I love Piers for setting these things up. I like Rabbi Shmuley for standing up to Hijab. I like Hijab for completely embarrassing anyone with his mindset. Yeah, it's awesome.
He is also a thing he referenced earlier in the conversation, in the discussion, where Mohammed Hijab talks about Ben Shapiro's wife.
I just want to speak to your wife for a second. Yes, I'm speaking to Ben Shapiro's wife. Ben Shapiro's wife, whatever your name is, just know your husband is a coward. Just know this is the real man. Look at me. Ben Shapiro's wife, please look at me. This is your husband.
Golden showers.
This,
I just want to speak.
Sorry.
This is ridiculous, man.
No, yeah, I don't like it.
He did the same thing, by the way. When he was like, years ago, he was fighting with me, and then because of me, when other people came to be involved, other ex-Muslims, he started fighting with them and started harassing them and their wives. And he did that very same thing. He even printed out a photo of himself and was like, "This goes to the wives of AP and Abdullah Samir and Abdullah Gondal. I just want to show them what a real man looks like. Your husbands are not real men," and stuff like that. I recommend getting new husbands or something, some dumb stuff like that. He did that before. He does it now again. This is just the disgusting, embarrassing, personal, very low level that he will always drag it down to.
Yeah, and as often as he drags it to that level, with Rabbi Shmuley, with Ben Shapiro, I know they are nicer. They are nicer than I am, so they're not going this direction. But we've been dealing with this guy for so long. There are certain things that his community only takes seriously, and here we go.
Oh, by the way, Rabbi Shmuley posted a clip of what we're doing right now. Now this will be us watching. No, it will be him watching us, watching him, watching us. Something like that.
That's pretty meta. I don't know what's going on there.
Let me ask you about Hamas.
I want to first, before you do that, I want to commend you, Piers, honestly, because bringing it up the second time.
Look at that. We've discussed this a million times. When I mean, they've got two tactics. They've got two of the traditional 5 tactics for manipulating people. It's you just shower people with praise when they do what you want, and you heap abuse on them when they don't, and you rapidly condition them into behaving as you want, which is why it's exactly why Mohammed Hijab was smiling at the beginning in the last discussion. Why you call me controversial? Why you call me controversial? How dare you do that? And complain like a big baby. And then for this one, Piers introduces him exactly as he wants, and then he sits back. See, and notice here, he's praising him. He's praising him for helping him here. So awesome.
Yeah.
That was a good point.
Yeah, and he said, Rabbi Shmuley, I have 9 children. I know when a child is having a temper tantrum. Mohammed Hijab is a man-child who throws temper tantrums when he doesn't get what he wants. By the way, Rabbi, you tagged the wrong account of me, which is also my other account, but my main account is just Apostate Prophet. So just tag that and follow me there. It would be nice to communicate and to have conversations together. Yeah, what are you doing, David?
I don't know. I was making a plane, but then people started saying, eat it. And again, guy, we do not act like this. Ordinarily, it would ordinarily. I mean, I interacted with Muslim friends for a long, long time. We're getting down to where we have people who want to act like this. And I don't know. It's just a line for me. I see a guy having a discussion. He instantly starts going after people's, daughters, wives, mothers, sons, all of that. There's the only thing they ever see. Again, I think it's ridiculous to have the need to go in this direction. At the end of the day, the only thing that makes them sort of say, okay, we can't stop. We need to stop doing this. We need to stop behaving in this way. The only thing that ever makes them stop, and we have seen it make them stop over and over again, is when it is leading to disgrace for their prophet and their book. I don't care about their prophet. I don't care about their book, but we have seen this. We have seen it work over and over again, that Muslims will eventually tell them, hey, you need to dial this back because when you do this, it leads to this, and we don't want that. It's the only thing that seems to make them stop and think about what they're doing. So, I don't know.
Very, very disrespectful. Very, very terrible.
Very,
very terrible. Very, 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 very.
Terrible. Tastes like pesticide. Growing on me. It's growing on me though. Once you get a taste for Quran plain,
No, you're just speaking about the subject.
I got a hankering.
He's been attacking me.
Don't attack him personally. We're not going to use it. It's pointless. Okay. I'm going to take it, just for the record, we'll put it on YouTube so people can see it all in context, right? But on my show, I'm just not going to have half of this, what I thought was going to be a serious debate, taken up with YouTube personally abusing each other.
Bismarck
it's pointless.
Excuse me. Von Bismarck said, I repay people with the currency that they pay me with.
Right.
If he's going to come with ad hominem, as you've acknowledged, I can come back.
Right, but you did, and you shouldn't have done, because you had the high moral ground.
Now
you don't.
This man is bringing up Jewish sex non-stop in this entire debate. We haven't even mentioned that.
On the personal stuff, you've been as bad.
Seriously, that came out of nowhere. It's like he's saying he's doing this as a retaliation, but he is the one who started bringing up sex out of nowhere.
Yeah, for real.
Each other. Let's start again. You get a minute from now. Is peace ever possible? Go.
Justice is a prerequisite for peace. In South Africa, when the apartheid system, which we know for a fact Israel is an apartheid state because it has laws like the right of return, which only allow Jewish people to come into the country. And if they convert, by the way, to Christianity or to Islam, they are stripped from that right, it meets completely the definition of apartheid as
Pause it.
What does that have to do with apartheid? Many Muslim countries have similar.
I was going to say that. We've got video from his Dawa partner, Ali Dawa, saying you're dead. You're dead if you're leaving Islam. And he's saying, if you convert to another religion, you don't have the right to return. You're dead. You are dead according to these guys.
Yeah. Many Muslim countries have similar. By the way, lots of Arab nations right now have laws in place according to which if you have an Israeli passport, you cannot enter the country. Or some countries even have rules that if Israel is on your passport, so you don't have an Israeli passport, but you recently traveled to Israel, then you may not enter that country. So there is discrimination based on that. Then there are Muslim countries where there is discrimination based upon religion. Then in his ideal world, there would be apostates or people who criticize Islam, who speak about it, would be executed or expelled according to his rather outlandish reformist point of view. So what exactly is he complaining about here? It doesn't make any sense. He is being hypocritical once again.
Pretty much. I mean, everything he says, if we took it seriously, would wreck his prophet.
We all know about this speech here.
Really? Bro, Adam is taking the mick out of you. This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah? There's a reason why there's a capital punishment. Because people like you, little weaklings, who leave their religion and cause corruption in the land by spreading it, the capital punishment in Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt. And we're proud of that. Not individuals going and doing it themselves like idiots. Yeah? No. Under an emir, it is done. And we, you know what? We'll be watching. We'll be watching. Because if you're going to cause corruption in the land, that's going to cause more damage to the society as a whole, because the Sharia didn't come to protect an individual's right. Hey, can I drink alcohol? Yeah, sure. Drink alcohol, run someone over, kill them, set all this kind of chaos. No, Islam says the right of the community is greater than you individual wanting your right to freedom, which is BS. Absolutely BS. Yeah? Don't get me started.
Apartheid. This is apartheid. Apartheid. It's very clear.
No, I mean, think about this. I mean, the entire goal of an Islamic society is Jews and Christians have to be subjugated. We have to be second-class citizens paying tribute money to our Muslim overlords. And we have it better than everyone else. Atheists, polytheists, they're all, for them, it's convert or die. So according to Hijab's definition, this is Islam promotes nothing but apartheid states.
Yeah.
And according to the UN Convention 1973, it's an apartheid system. And as a prerequisite of an apartheid system, you have to be a racist. If you support that, you're a racist. No doubt about it.
No, so Muhammad's a racist.
1973 apartheid law. If
Muhammad was a racist, Al-Dawa is a racist.
Prophet Muhammad was a racist.
Muhammad Hijab himself is a racist. It's very strange, man.
Daniel and Kikachu, they're all racist according to Muhammad Hijab.
Racists.
Black South Africans have been displaced. If they have been displaced by
this is Muhammad Hijab. So after going after the daughter, the son, everything, now this is Muhammad Hijab pulling the race card.
Yeah.
the whites, and then they were trying to come back into their country and they were not allowed. And then you asked them, is peace possible? That's not the question we'd be asking them. We'd be asking them, is justice possible? And that's the question that we're going to be asking. Because he can sit there and talk about all these things where the IDF, his son Mendy is being attacked by, vibrated by the rockets, and he's selling him and his daughter selling vibrators to the public.
Unnecessary thing at the end again.
I hope you keep that in.
Go back.
I wonder if he actually thought about this before he went on the show, or if he just came.
Oh,
up with that.
No, he planned that. That's all planned. And that's the disturbing part. He plans this stuff. He sits down with Ali Dawah. Okay, what can I say here?
Oh, what you got to say is you got to bring up the vibrators and the dildos, and you got to bring up the lube and talk about his daughter, yeah? No, who care about the issue? Just say 100-to-1 ratio. Just keep saying that, yeah?
What I find funny, Piers Morgan's reaction to it is like, yeah, okay, unnecessary thing at the end again. It reminds me of high school, like high schoolers being completely stupid and weird, and the teacher being like, okay, yeah, that was completely unnecessary, completely uncalled for. Yeah, please stop, please don't do that. It's like here, Piers Morgan is really trying to, I don't know, discipline this little man here, but he won't. Let's play this again.
I'm going to be asking, because he can sit there and talk about all these things where the IDF, his son Mendy is being attacked by, vibrated by the rockets, and he's selling him and his daughter selling vibrators to the public.
Unnecessary thing at the end again.
I hope you keep that in.
Rabbi Shmuley,
Rabbi's got a good sense of humor and all.
Oh man, he actually came up with that.
No, I mean what's amusing is like that hijab goes there, right? That's what's amusing, right? It's like
so random.
This
right?
is the guy. This is the Oxford grad that we're all supposed to take seriously.
But it sounds like you're right. It sounds like he prepares the line because it doesn't make much. It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
he probably prepares it in advance. He tries to fit it in somewhere.
Yeah, figures out where he can work it in.
When it's totally random, it appears completely random here.
1 minute on, is peace ever possible?
Of course. I revere countries like the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, where I've spoken several times. I am safer as a Jew wearing a yarmulke in Dubai and Abu Dhabi than I am on the campus of Columbia University or even Harvard these days. The Mohammed bin Zayed.
You know what? That might be true.
Zayed is just an incredible leader. I saw in the Gulf states.
To be clear, I wouldn't trust that claim as much right now. Maybe that might have changed since October 7th.
Yeah. I would say Dubai, United Arab Emirates, is probably significantly more disciplined in vigilante action and things like that in comparison to other countries. If you go with a yarmulke to Pakistan right now, you're probably not very safe. But United Arab Emirates might be different in that regard.
That Mohammed Hijab rejects, but the Islamic world embraces. That's why they made peace with Israel. It's a technologically advanced, tolerant, forward-looking, very traditional, very religious Islam, and that's why they've made peace with Israel, and peace will continue to be made. All of these countries are praying for Israel.
Can't let him finish.
Hamas, because Mohammed Hijab is an outlier. He's an extremist, and his views, as he represents them at Speaker's Corner of things about women being subject. Okay. But let me just be clear. All of the Arab countries want Hamas destroyed. And the proof is, when they had their conference in Riyadh last week, they did not even once call to bring in any evacuees because they want Israel to establish a more democratic regime in Gaza, which they will do. Israel's winning this war.
To both of you.
This is true. There are lots of Muslims who have condemned Saudi Arabia and the Arab countries because they actually refused to take measures to take more drastic measures against Israel during the current war. So people like Daniel Kikuchu and others have explicitly condemned these Arab nations, and that is a sign of hope.
You're right. Just give me a very, very quick snapshot of, in 20 years' time, how peace could have been achieved. Very quickly.
Okay, the first thing is, when Israel withdrew in 2005, almost 20 years ago, if Hamas had not come to power, if they had taken all the international aid that they got, tens of billions of dollars. Peace would have been achieved by building businesses, entrepreneurship,
How do we get there
schools.
now?
Okay, we get there now by destroying Hamas, making sure that there's democratic elections, that the Palestinian people, not Mohammed Hijab, not Shmuley, not
I mean, you
Piers Morgan
both
speak for them,
agree
but
Hamas should be gone, right? We can agree on this, right?
We agreed that there should be a bigger Palestinian Authority with armies and airplanes.
And the way
He said
No,
we
Ra-
agree.
Nobody
He said we
agrees.
agree.
Nobody agrees. You say that. Nobody agrees with that.
We all agree that that the Palestinians should have a massive army that they can use to exterminate Israel.
Yeah.
No,
Nobody wants that.
No one said that.
Nobody wants that. Don't have that. Don't do that. They shouldn't have that. They should have no military. It should be a demilitarized country. That's it. If at all.
Yeah, you are not responsible enough to have a military. That says something about you.
Yeah.
But we do have agreement.
And the way we have
They
peace
should have tanks.
in the history of the world. No
And
two
nukes. They should have nukes.
powers have ever gone to war. That's what.
Can you imagine if suddenly the Palestinian territories, Gaza and the West Bank, if they suddenly obtained weapons, equipment powerful enough to destroy, overcome, or destroy Israel? Can you imagine what they would do with this?
Oh, and
their goal was on October 7th. They announced their goal was to, do the ultimate attack and take down Israel. And their internal goal during the operation was to kill as many people, civilians, as possible, while also taking hostages as much as possible. So, if they suddenly had the power, what would they do?
And the creepy part is they got way more advanced here than they were in recent years, and so it's just like, okay, well, if you've got everyone sending them piles and piles of money, and you have nations like Iran and so on backing them, and they've got endless tunnels and so on, and they can get this stuff in there. Gosh, like what are things going to be like if Israel does not crush Hamas? Right. Yeah. If you don't crush them, what are things like 2 or 3 years from now? It seems like if they don't crush them, they're going to be more advanced and be able to kill way more people.
Yeah. There is no way that you can make peace with that. The most in a realistic situation, Hamas has to be eradicated. That's it. And as much as people around the world say ceasefire now, free, it doesn't matter. Israel will probably not stop. They will go through with the mission, and I hope they do, because it is probably the best for everyone involved. Hamas needs to go.
Yeah, Hamas, turn yourselves in right now. Face judgment. Hand over the hostages. Let's bring this to an end.
Inshallah.
Why, since the end of the Second World War, there's been no war here in Europe.
The Queen's Honor said, can you review some of Corey Gil-Schuster's interviews with Palestinians, Gazans, and Israelis? Be interested for your thoughts. I follow him. I follow that channel. He conducts street interviews with Palestinians and Israelis. Very insightful. I could do that sometime.
Oh, we should go there and do some street interviews with Hamas.
Yeah, right.
We need to see a democratic Gaza. Hamas won an election in 2006.
There's a war in Europe now, by the way.
Correct, Ukraine. Because it's against a tyranny. I said no two democracies ever gone to war. Putin is not a democracy. He's a tyrant. In the history of the world, no two democracies ever fought a war. We have a democracy in Gaza.
So what does peace look like in 20 years?
Peace looks like the Arabs voting for their rulers, voting and backing them, seeing Israel as a partner, not being humiliated that because of this tiny little red dot surrounded, that's humiliation.
Two-state solution?
I'll tell you. If two-state solution is a Hamas state wanting to eviscerate Israel,
he doesn't believe in it.
But he doesn't believe in a two-state solution. He believes in a final solution. That's what really scares me.
Okay.
You don't believe in a two-state solution. You believe in a final solution. The way you speak about Jews, you believe in a final solution, and it's scary.
Do you believe in a two-state solution?
If that second state is Mexico and Canada, if that second state is Gaza, then of course not, because it'll just become another genocidal enemy wanting to wipe Israel off the map.
That's pretty unequivocal.
Quite clear.
Little side note, Black Angel did send you a photoshopped picture of Hijab.
Really?
It's just insane, because like the nice Christian side of me is like, no, you can't do any sort of that, and it's like it's like the situation with Israel and Hamas. It's like, no, you can't be dropping bombs and stuff like that. That's messed up. But look at what you're dealing with here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. This could be used for the advertisement.
Oh, you're sharing it? I was just telling you.
This could be used for the advertisement. So yeah, this is interesting. Interesting stuff. Good stuff.
Well, he doesn't really want a two-state solution.
I don't want a two-state solution. That's a terrorist state to destroy Israel.
I
Of course
personally
not.
believe this whole
Hey,
question.
that should be your thumbnail.
Cancellation they want. However, having said that, this man has written in his book, A War in Israel.
Wait,
that is-
wait! I missed this part. We're talking about something serious here. Let's stay serious.
I don't want a two-state solution. That's a terrorist state to destroy
I
Israel. Of course
personally
not.
believe this whole question should be left to the Palestinians of what kind of solution they want.
Look at that grandstanding. Like it's
Think about what he's saying here. Give the Palestinians a big army and let them do what they want. Wait, what? We know what they want. We know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Well,
according to polls published by Palestinian research sources over the years, over and over again, the majority of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank say that they are not satisfied with a two-state solution. If they can obtain it, they would want to fight until all of it belongs to them. All of it belongs to them. And only a very tiny minority of them thinks a future state where they live together with the Jews is possible. So to summarize that, what most Palestinians in the Palestinian territories would want is to take all of it over and to get rid of the Jews, kick them out or eradicate them. Why in the world would you expect the other side to support that?
I apologize for my grinning, but someone posted that Mohammed must have taken advantage of the discount code.
However, having said that, this man has written in his book, A War in Israel, that is the settlement.
I didn't write a book called The War in Israel.
It's called the Israel Warrior. Something
Thank
like that,
you.
right?
Thanks for plugging.
Ah, fantastic!
I appreciate
Fantastic.
that. Thank you very much.
I find this so funny.
And Rabbi,
fantastic.
Meanwhile, Rabbi Shmuley's book skyrockets to #1 on Amazon thanks to Mohammed Hijab.
It's called the Israel Warrior. Something like
Thank
that,
you.
right?
Thanks for plugging.
Ah, fantastic!
I appreciate
Fantastic.
that. Thank you very much.
In that book, he writes
Thank you, Mohammed.
that the
God bless
issue of
you.
the issue of settlements that me and you both condemn, Piers.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, we do. He doesn't condemn it because he sees an ancient biblical reason to be in that whole land.
Oh, I think Arabs and Israelis should be able to live wherever they want. I want Arabs to live in Jerusalem. I don't believe in Arab. I am so proud that Israel has 1.8 million Arab Muslim citizens.
Why does he say keep talking? And then he says keep talking. If you want him to keep talking, just shut up so he can talk, man.
Be nice.
Protected by the IDF.
Yeah, but
he calls the IDF a terrorist. They are defending Muslim lives.
What you should be less proud of is the rapid expansion of these settlements on the West Bank.
That's
It
right.
has been incredibly
Do you condemn that?
divisive.
Do you condemn that?
It's been, in my view, illegal. It's been declared illegal.
Illegal
and
by
it shouldn't
everyone's
have
view.
happened.
Well, Pierce,
UN,
let me
Human Rights
There are
Watch,
many things I'll
US
defend.
court considers
There
it.
are many things I'll defend Israel.
This is so funny because before we even get to the settlements, Mohammed Hijab has earlier expressed his problem again with the Palestinian refugee crisis, which is often brought up when we talk about a solution to the conflict. He thinks that all of the refugees that are recognized as refugees living in the Palestinian territories and anywhere else should be, in the event, allowed to return to their homes, including in the occupied Palestinian territories and Israel. So in short, he wants to delegitimize any expansion that happened as a result of the many wars and conflicts, and he thinks the Palestinian refugees living everywhere else should have the right to return to Israel and reclaim those lands that Israel holds now and should call it their home. Why in the world would you allow that? Why in the world would Israel allow that? Those expansions happened because of Arab aggressions against Israel. The refugee problem happened because of Arab expansions against Israel. Why would Israel now allow, refugees, so-called refugees, to come back?
And it's just amazing. I mean, you're talking about a religion that sort of took over Arabia. And notice, I mean, Muhammad moves to Medina, which welcomes him in. and eventually he's expelling people and murdering people and so on, completely taking over. They take over Arabia. They expand westward, move all the way across northern Africa up into Europe. They go eastward. They go all the way out to India and China and so on. And then one little tiny piece of land the size of like half a postage stamp on a map, that's like, nope, can't have Jews controlling that.
Israel removed all of the settlements from Gaza in 2005. Huge move, very unpopular move with people who didn't really want to give that concession. But there was a huge move. There were so many moments in the recent history where the Palestinian side, the Palestinian Authority, could have gone for a two-state solution and established peace, accepting what they want. But no, they just keep wanting more and more and more and more and more. And the more they delay this, the more settlements and other things will continue. This has been the problem the entire time. Why didn't the Arab side accept what they had at the very beginning? The land didn't belong to them. They didn't own the land. They didn't rule the land. They were not rulers of the land. They were living in a land that was Imperial Ottoman land that was then taken by Great Britain, which they then used to give to the Jews, where they could build a proper home for a Jewish population together with the Arabs. The Arabs didn't like it. It was split in two. The Arabs didn't like it. They attacked. Israel still left land for them. They didn't like it. They wanted all of it back. There was another attack. Israel took all of it, occupied it, took it all, could do with it whatever they wanted. If they wanted to do a genocide, if they wanted to do ethnic cleansing, if they wanted to get rid of all of the Arabs, all the Palestinians, they could have done it. They didn't do it. Eventually, after decades, they decided to actually give Gaza and the West Bank self-governance. They didn't like that either. What exactly do you expect? What do you give these people?
An army. Give them a big army with tanks. They need tanks.
Yeah.
That is indefensible.
But let me answer. Absolutely. If you go to places in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank,
why you call it Judea and Samaria?
Because those are the biblical lands.
We call it that. We call it that.
You don't know.
It actually is their land. He can call it whatever they want.
History. It was always Judea and Samaria. The West Bank is the West Bank of a river. We don't call California the West Bank of the Mississippi River. Now, let me go back.
Call it Canaan.
If you go to the Barkana Industrial Park in Judea and Samaria.
Pierce is being terrible here, I have to say. He's horrible, and he's biased in his responses, maybe because he can't he can't control Mohammed Hijab, so he tries to control the rabbi whenever he can. But he is very much knocking down on the rabbi whenever he tries to speak, but not doing the same thing with Mohammed Hijab quite as well.
And then Hijab moans and wails, "Oh, it's 2-on-1, it's 2-on-1. You're both attacking me. I'm a victim." Crybaby, man.
Samaria, you will see, I've met the Palestinians, I've interviewed them. They are paid 20 times the salary working for people you call settlers. They want them there. It brings civilization. It's only jihadis who don't want it. It's only jihadis, and that's why you're saying...
True.
Yes, it is true.
That's not true.
I've interviewed them myself.
Many Palestinians who definitely do not want them to continue the settlement.
You know Palestinians who want to live under Mahmoud Abbas with no democracy.
Let me come to Mohammed.
Afraid to criticize Mohammed into jail.
This is true, by the way. Mahmoud Abbas, the current Fatah government in the West Bank, is extremely unpopular. Most Palestinians hate the Palestinian Authority. They don't like them. They accuse him of corruption. The corruption is very evident. They do things such as kidnapping their rivals, their opponents, or suspected opponents, and torturing them, putting them away with no charge. Stuff that they accuse Israel of doing, the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank does all the time. David, do you have to go at some point? I just realized we are 3 hours in.
Yeah, I can make it work. I do have a kid who's up, but it's a weekend, so.
It's a weekend. Okay.
Mohammed. Shmuley, yes, my friend Mohammed. Go ahead, Mohammed. Please. You're wearing my favorite blue color. Of course I'll let you speak.
Fantastic. For that reason?
Yes,
brilliant.
Thank you.
There we have it. Peace in the Middle East.
The blue?
My mother loved that color. And she
I thought it would have been because of Israel, because you...
Oh, that's right. You wore the Israeli colors today.
Can
we shake hands?
No, please. I don't want
to. Look, they're friends now.
Yeah.
Say the rabbi thought they were about to be friends, and then hijab ruined it. I thought we were about to have peace in the Middle East, and then hijab ruined it.
He didn't shake your hands either, right? When you debated him.
No.
Yeah. You reached out and
I stuck my hand out, and then he you can. I will not shake hands. I'd be happy to take a secret second wife, even if she's only 7 or something. But no, shaking hands with the kuffar.
Sorry, but I mean, look how
He's got a perfectly functioning moral compass. Perfectly functioning.
After what you said today about me, I can't shake your hand. But
after what you said about
what did he say about him?
Did he say what you said about me?
Yeah. What?
Wait. Hijab went after his daughter, his son, and then he says what you said about me.
He said he made sexual suggestions about him and his daughter together, 2-on-1. He talked about his son vibrating with rockets while he sells vibrators to the public. He talked about lubricants. He talked about dildos and this and that. And now he's like, after what you said about me today, I can't shake your hand.
What a narcissist!
about my sex life, and I'm shaking your hand.
Stop. I just want to say.
You won't shake my hand.
Let him speak.
You won't shake my hand.
The problem is,
let him speak.
That's really sad. I guess there will be no peace.
What he said there is a little bit telling, because the blue colors in Israel and all that kind of stuff. He defended Dershowitz, which was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, for that very reason, because he's a supporter of Israel.
I defended Dershowitz. Dershowitz and I fought over him going to Qatar. You don't know anything.
You wrote it on the Observer.
You wrote it on the Observer. You're abysmal. Ignorance is shocking. Me and Alan Dershowitz.
So okay, he makes another claim that is completely wrong, and also a completely off-topic personal remark once again.
It's had a huge fight over him defending Qatar.
Did you go to the island?
Come on, guys. Get back to topic.
Did you go to the island?
Mohammed.
Yeah.
What about Dershowitz? What about Dershowitz?
He actually asked him, "Did you go to his island? Did you go to Epstein's island?" I don't know why this is a problem. I mean, seriously, seriously, I do not know why Islamists like Mohammed Hijab or Daniel Kikuchu or others would blame Jeffrey Epstein. I do not know why they would have a problem with Jeffrey Epstein. Why?
No.
Why is Jeffrey Epstein so bad?
That's like their goal. That's like their goal in life.
What Jeffrey Epstein did is to have a place where he hires young girls that are underage.
Well, yeah, you need to clarify what you mean by young, because their only objection, the only objection Daniel Hakikachu would have to Jeffrey Epstein is that he's into older women, namely 13-year-olds. who for Daniel, that's a grandmother.
Yeah, I believe.
Guys, if you think we're making this up, Daniel believed he was asked 5 doesn't matter, 4. Even an 11-month-old, if you had parental permission, an 11-month-old baby you could have sex with.
Okay, I've just confirmed it. Jeffrey Epstein's youngest documented victim, was 14 years old.
Grandma.
14 years old.
Old lady.
14 years old. So what Jeffrey Epstein did is he had teenagers, young girls. They would come to him. He would employ them. He would give them money and say, "Hey, can you do this and this for me?" And he would slowly ease them in, and would start using them for sexual favors, for sexual massages and things like these. Would then say, "Hey, how about I give you more money and you bring some of your friends over, and we can have them work with us too." And he would just give them a lot of money and would make them work for him. And very few of the girls actually had sex, and only some of them with anyone.
Why are you defending Jeffrey Epstein?
So here's
every sick, evil person.
So why exactly do these Islamists have a problem with Jeffrey Epstein when, in their ideal world, it is completely fine to have a bunch of little girls, a bunch of little children, take them as sex slaves and rape them? We have just heard it from Daniel Kikuchu. He says at any age you can take them and you can rape them. You can take them as sex slaves. So why is Jeffrey Epstein a problem?
You don't get it, because you don't go to the 14-year-old, you go to her granddaughter.
Yeah.
That's who you want as your wife.
That's it.
According to Daniel Hakikachu.
That's it. Jeffrey Epstein was an idiot. He took old women.
Muhammad, wait,
20 years
you see,
time. No,
this is
I don't care about
this is not
Alan
a debate.
Dershowitz. I know Alan
This is a
Dershowitz.
slugfest.
We're not
This is a
going to use
mudfest.
the
This
stuff
is
about Alan
disgusting.
Dershowitz. Forget it.
What is
right?
your obsession with sex? I don't get it.
I'm not
Read my
going to
book.
use
I'll
any
give
of
you
you.
a gift.
You seem totally obsessed with
Unbelievable.
Check out Prophet.
I wrote a book called Kosher Sex for Marriages. I didn't write it to get into other people's bedrooms.
I don't care about either of your sex lives. Okay?
You seem
Let me
pretty
ask you,
interested in
Mohammed.
mine.
20 years time. 20 years time. What is the potential?
What was that?
He seems
Let me
pretty
ask you,
interested in mine.
20 years time.
I'm not interested.
20 years time. What does a potential peace look like?
I don't know, but that's a speculative question. To be honest, you're asking me a hypothetical. You see,
Two-state solution?
I don't know. You're asking me a hypothetical.
Watch this, because he goes on for a couple minutes like this. It's ridiculous. He's asking, like, hey, you know, what plausible way is there to get peace over the next 20 years? No, it's hypothetical. Hypothetical. It's like, wait, you can't. Can you or can you not think of any sort of path to peace here? Can you think of one? If not, if you can't even come up with a plausible path to peace, that's kind of a problem, like big problem. Like if you can't even imagine one.
Bigly. James Wilson said, "What do you think of the theory that Daniel Kikachu is an agent provocateur?" I have to say, sometimes it really looks like it, and I feel like, you know, there might be some truth to that. But if so, then he's perfect. He's very good at it.
I don't believe that he is, but it would not be shocking, because I mean, it's like if you had the ideal person to just go with what some of these 6 sources say, you'd get Daniel Hakikatu. If you wanted to destroy Islam from within and expose it, you'd behave like Daniel Hakikatu. So it could kind of go either way. But yeah.
Might be some truth to it. Nobody knows.
So I don't do hypotheticals.
I wanted to give me hope.
Why did you not answer my hypothetical question? If you're asking me
which one
question, the Belfast question, why?
Huh?
Remember, I asked you the Belfast question and you didn't answer it.
I don't think there is. The only parallel.
Why didn't you answer that one?
Because they're different situations.
No, but it's hypothetical. You're asking me a hypothetical now. Why?
You don't have to answer. I'm just asking you.
No, but why?
David Goliath said, David and AP, do you believe that Palestinians are descendants of biblical Israelites? Even many Zionist thinkers accepted that. They have a better claim than European or North African Jews. First off, I personally do not believe that anyone has a claim by...
Yeah, that's ridiculous. What do you mean? What do you mean better claim? We're not saying that, oh, you can trace your person back farther than I can trace that. That's not the argument. But guys, the people there are a mixture. Like you can trace. I'm part Jewish. I'm part African. You can trace lots of people to a lot of different sources. So within the population, you could probably trace a bunch of people back genetically to earlier Israelites and to all kinds of people. But that's true. That's true of the people in Israel. That's true of the people in Palestine. You're going to find tons of Arabs. You're going to find Armenians, Assyrians. You're going to find all that.
So there are studies. So one thing is the current Palestinian Arab Muslim population was greatly influenced by and greatly changed by the Arab population that came into the region after the Muslim conquests. They intermarried, interbred, and so on. Much of it is Arab. It is genetically and historically the Arab is the most dominant origin there. And you can also hear people like the Hamas representative or others say that that they have roots in Egypt, in Arabia, in Yemen, and so on, or Jordan, whatever it is. I don't think much of this really matters. If there is a Palestinian Arab population that is nowadays known as Arab population that is very connected to ancient civilizations, it would rather be the Palestinian Christian population. And you can also see that on there is some research and there are some genetic tests that people have published. I might have one of them handy here. You can see that that when you compare the Palestinian Christian genetics to the ancient Canaanites, for example, you see that they are very, very close to the ancient Canaanites, whereas the Palestinian Muslim population are quite distant to that origin. But hey, this is all genetics. I don't think this says anything at all. So I wouldn't make a claim based on that.
you have a double
I don't
standard?
think asking you how peace might look like is hypothetical.
No, it's talking about the future in a
Piers,
hypothetical.
How would you like? Let me rephrase it. How would you like it to be resolved? This crisis.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, look. Yeah, let's look at history.
River
right?
to the sea. That's how you want it, right? No, Israel.
Let him answer.
Well,
Don't answer for him.
Honestly, you'll be surprised to know this. And people talk about, you said this, I have to correct you. I looked at the Hamas charter, Hamas themselves, yeah? In Article 16, even they say you can have, in Article 31, they say that you can have peace between, they can have a shared land between Christians, Muslims, and Jews. They even say that. I think the most radical elements, everybody you want.
Wait.
In Article 31, they say that you can have peace between, they can have a shared land between Christians, Muslims, and Jews. They even say that. I think the most...
He's talking about the current Hamas charter, Article 31, right?
Isn't that maybe my memory is foggy, but isn't that where it's a sort of temporary two-state solution?
I know about that, but he's talking about something else here. He's talking about a land that is shared between. So there is one issue where in the Hamas Charter 2017, Hamas says they say that they could preliminarily agree to a state along the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital, but they will never give up their aim of taking all of historic Palestine. So they would only accept a temporary state and would then eventually aim to own all of it. But now he's talking about something else here. He's saying that there is... Wait a minute, let's hear this again.
I looked at the Hamas charter, Hamas themselves, yeah? In Article 16, even they say you can have, in Article 31, they say that you can have peace between, they can have a shared land between Christians, Muslims, and Jews. They even say that.
All right. I don't remember any such thing. Let's see. Is he talking about the Hamas Charter of 1988 or talking about the Hamas Charter of 2017? He said Article 31, right? This is the old one. Article 31. 31. The Islamic resistance movement is a humanistic movement.
Nice. It sure is.
It takes care of human rights and is guided by Islamic tolerance when dealing with followers.
Islamic tolerance.
It does not antagonize any one of them, except it is antagonized by it or stands in its way to hamper its moves and waste its efforts. Under the wing of Islam, this is what he's talking about. Wait a minute. It is possible for the followers of the three religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, to coexist in peace and quiet with each other. Peace and quiet would not be possible except under the wing of Islam.
So Islam has to be under control. Islam has to be in control, right?
Yeah, but the issue is they are not saying here that it could be a shared land in Palestine. They say under Islam, Christianity and Islam and Judaism could coexist in peace. First, so that is a first correction. But let's read through. Let's see if it says anything like that. It is the duty of the followers of the other religion to stop disputing the sovereignty of Islam in this region.
It's our duty to stop disputing the sovereignty of Islam.
Because the day these followers should take over, there will be nothing but carnage, displacement, and terror. Very, very ironic. Very ironic. Every one of them is at variance with his fellow religionists, not to speak about followers of other religionists. Past and present history are full of examples. Okay, let's hear again what Mohammed Hijab just claimed.
They say that you can, in Article 16, even they say you can have, in Article 31, they say that you can have peace between,
Why are you stuttering?
have a shared land between Christians, Muslims, and Jews. They even say that. I think the most...
All right.
Shared lands between Christians, Muslims, and Jews, where Muslims are in charge and we do what we're told.
In this charter, you mean? Now let's go in this charter to Article 7, and let's read Article 7 once more. It's a little bit of a long article. Let's just start from here. Moreover, if the links have been distant from each other, and if obstacles placed by those who are the lackeys of Zionism in the way of the fighters obstructed the continuation of the struggle, the Islamic resistance movement, Hamas, aspires to the realization of Allah's promise, no matter how long that should take. The Prophet, Allah bless him and grant him salvation, has said, the day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews. When the Jew will hide behind stones and trees, the stones and trees will say, O Muslim, O servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. Only the garget tree would not do that because it is one of the trees of the Jews.
By the way, notice always the Prophet, Allah bless him and grant him salvation. It's like they still think that their Prophet's eternal well-being rests somehow on their supplications. Please, Allah grant him salvation.
Yeah,
that would make. And by the way, note if psychologically how this all ties together. It's, hey, if Muhammad himself is a little in doubt, right? Like even him, we have to constantly be seeking his well-being, and he's the best of the best. What hope is there for the rest of us? It's always an encouragement to jihad.
Yeah. And the Prophet Mohammed, he himself, he told us, he promised us, he made Allah's promise. He said, you will fight the Jews and you will kill them until they hide behind stones and trees. And even stones and trees will say, come, there's a Jew behind me. Oh, Muslim, come and kill the Jew. Except for one tree, the garget tree, because that tree is the tree of the Jews. But we know that we will get behind that Jew and we will kill the Jews. This is the Hamas charter.
Yeah, they talk about this in a second. Hijab starts going, it's an eschatological hadith,
And this is not all, by the way. If you want to go through the charter here, it even goes into some insane conspiracy theories like, elders of. It actually mentions the protocols of the elders of Zion, which is a
forgery,
an insane forgery and conspiracy theory, according to which the Jews are controlling the world and want to take it all over, and they want to create a great Israel, a great Zionist land in the entire region, and they are behind all of the things in the world. This is Hamas and their charter. And we are supposed to trust this. Fantastic reference to Muhammad Hijab.
Radical elements, everybody you want. The jihadis, these one, that one. No one actually wants the extermination of Jewish people. That's a lie.
Actually, that's not true. That's not true.
Are you kidding me, man?
Yeah, no one wants that.
The Hamas charter, I just read it. It says we aspire to this, no matter how long it takes.
Weren't there people chanting gas the Jews in Australia and so on?
Yes.
No one wants it. No one wants it. We all just want Palestinians to have a big huge army and tanks for peace.
Oh no. We're just saying it will happen. We're just saying yes, we will kill the Jews in the future,
we're not saying we want to, we're just saying we're going to.
I don't want to kill the Jews. It's going to happen. Sorry.
Wait, now let me speak.
I'll tell you
the Hamas charter. Let me speak. Hamas charter calls for the Hamas charter says that behind every single tree and stone where a Jew.
That's hadith of the Prophet.
Now you're saying that the Prophet Muhammad said that? It says that every Jew has to be murdered. How can you possibly deny that?
That's hadith.
What's the hadith say?
The hadith says in the end of it's an eschatological hadith.
Yes, go ahead.
It's an eschatological hadith which says that on the end of times there'll be a war and there will be trees and stones that say behind me is a Jew killing.
So Muhammad is saying that the Jews should be killed?
This is a hadith which has been misinterpreted.
What does it mean?
So, but anyway, it means that it's an eschatological. It's not an imperative.
What does it mean?
It's not an imperative.
Are you obligated to kill a Jew according to the hadith? You're not. Okay.
I'll tell you.
Wait a minute. You pick and choose.
No, excuse me. Let me answer your question. Yes. Let me ask you a question. This is a theological question, so I'm answering you. This hadith is called an eschatological. You know this because you're a theologian. It's an eschatological hadith. It's not talking about.
It's not literal.
It's not It's not like 1 Samuel.
Oh, it's literal.
This is completely besides the point. This is a typical diffraction, saying it is eschatology. It's talking about the end time. No, it's talking about the end time. It's not about eradicating the Jews. No. It's about the end time. It doesn't matter what time it is talking about. The hadith says and promises and prophesies that the Muslims will fight and kill the Jews. That's it.
And so the only what Hijab is pointing out here, that it's saying it's not an imperative, meaning it's not an order to you, particular Muslim at this time, to necessarily run out and start killing Jews. It does mean it is a future goal, and you don't get your virgins until you actually do this. And so it's always a goal. It's a goal. You might say, hey, we're not doing that right now, but it is something you're aiming towards.
Yeah. That's the goal.
where it says, go and kill the men, women, children, donkeys, and oxen, which, by the way, Netanyahu quoted.
No, that's not true.
He quoted Amalek.
That's
he said you can kill them 1 minute. It's not like that.
See, this is
not what Netanyahu actually said. Netanyahu did quote Amalek. He said, he spoke to the people and said, remember what Amalek did to you. And he referenced several other things, oppression and this and that, and fighting the enemy. He did not say we should follow the directions as laid out in that case of going and destroying Amalek altogether. That's not what he said. He did say, though, you could consider that problematic. And maybe, I don't know, from my perspective, it's probably not something that Netanyahu should have brought up. Lots of other people agreed as well. But to appeal to the emotions of the Jews by saying, remember what Amalek did to you. However, again, he did not make any implication or otherwise indicate that we should now take the order as it was laid out in the Bible in reference to Amalek and kill and eradicate everybody. We went through this, right, David? We went through.
We did an entire live stream. We went through the entire. We read the entire chapter and went through the relevant portions of the rest of First and Second Samuel.
Yeah, and you can watch that all there. We went through it extensively.
One Bible of saying the Jews want to.
Can I get a word in here?
But Piers,
let me put a point. I'm going to put a point to Mohammed. Of course. I tell you who wants the absolute annihilation of every Jew they can get their hands on. All the Hamas terrorists who crossed the border on October the 7th, who gleefully recorded it, boasted about it, and the Hamas official. Wait a minute. And the Hamas official spokesman, who only last week said they want to do it again and again and again. If you don't think Hamas are wedded as an organization to the annihilation of Jewish people, you are living in
their charter. In their charter, it says that they will murder.
They said in their action. They've showed us what they want to do.
That I agree with. Hold on. Let me tell you why I agree or disagree. Both the IDF and Hamas, on paper, say they don't want the annihilation of Muslims and Jews.
No.
What are you talking about, man? Yes, you're right. The IDF has never expressed that they want all Palestinians or Muslims killed. But yes, we all know that Hamas, in their charter, in their actions, in their speeches over the years, again and again, expressed their need and their desire to exterminate the Jews, to kill all Jews.
And the only way around it is if you're just subjugated and you acknowledge, hey, these guys, Muslims are superior to us and they're in charge. Then they might give you a pass if they feel like it.
Okay, we have 20 more minutes left, David, but I feel like if we're going to go through that, we're going to sit here for another 2 hours. So,
there's not a. I mean, it's more yelling and stuff. So,
I want to see one part though, just at the end. I want to see the conclusion because I found it quite funny. We were at 47. I might review that.
Look at Hijab with all his notes and pictures.
Let yourselves down. I gave you. You don't get to go all over.
Doesn't matter what your name is.
Look, I found that quite.
Okay, let's see.
Absolutely not acceptable. So peace is justice requirement for peace.
By the way, it's Shmuley, not Shmuley.
You don't get to go all over.
Doesn't matter what your name is.
Look, I found that quite a dispiriting hour. I've got to be honest with you.
Doesn't matter.
I thought both of you.
You hear that? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I gave you a great opportunity here.
We gave you an
to try
opportunity
and
as well, Piers. Come on.
Well, fine. You can say what you like about me. I don't care.
We gave you an audience. You gave us an audience.
It's fine. But it's not just about the audience. It's about a big audience, which we're getting for all these shows. About a big audience seeing people try to come together.
Don't be sanctimonious, though.
Nobody here has seen you try.
Don't be sanctimonious.
Piers.
Piers is making the point here. I gave you an opportunity to have a serious debate about this, and Mohammed Hijab is immediately like, "Oh, we also give you an opportunity. We gave you audience and also dildos."
Yes, I have my extremely mature followers who love to come here to hear me talk about dildos and lube. So I'm doing you a favor, Piers.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Piers, with all due respect, since
try harder.
I believe in
try harder as Nelson Mandela did when he came out. Nelson Mandela could have gone down this road when he came out of prison after 27 years.
And they called him a terrorist then. They called him a terrorist.
No, wait a minute. He could have come out of prison and he could have taken the path of vengeance.
He did.
Instead,
He was violent.
Instead,
What are you talking about?
he took the path of peace.
He was violent.
He took the path.
Reconciliation. What are you talking about?
When he came out of prison, he took the path of peace.
He was violent.
Pierce,
Right?
And you
Pierce,
called him a terrorist. The British called him a terrorist.
I take.
I don't know the history of Nelson Mandela. If he was peaceful after he came out, but I don't know.
Yeah, I do remember some of their reconciliation meetings where you get up and people would confess to what they've done and people would forgive each other and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, but I don't know enough about it.
And I will think about what you said.
And Mandela was
but I
pro-Palestine.
will tell you.
He was against
But I will tell you. If you bring two people on to a debate and you're saying that we let you
Don't give him
down our
lessons.
audience.
Don't give him lessons.
Okay.
Don't give him lessons.
When you bring people,
He's a very successful man.
when you bring
He's a very
two
successful
people
man.
and you allow
I'll be quiet, man.
one to bring up
Don't give them lessons.
Stuff that is so just embarrassing, like people's sex lives.
You've
and everything else.
written 30 books
No, I
on
did
sex.
not. No,
You've
I did
written
not.
30
I did. No,
sex? No?
I'm proud of my books on sex, but this is a debate about the Middle East.
I don't care about your sex lives, either of you.
All right, to be really interested
That's
in
it
mine, Mohammed.
from me. Whatever you're up to.
We'll talk later.
Keep it uncensored. Good night.
It is weird. It is weird. Pierce going, "Oh, you let everyone down. This isn't what I wanted." Like, wait, what? Okay, you've got Mohammed Hijab. Everyone with two brain cells knows exactly what Mohammed Hijab is going to do in this situation, and everyone who is familiar with Rabbi Shmuley knows he's not going to back down from Mohammed Hijab, and so he's going to respond in kind to the to the shouting and so on. So how do you not have an idea that this is going to happen, Piers? That's the question.
Plus, Piers was also terrible at moderating this, and it has to be said. He was terrible at moderating this. He was terrible at controlling the room. He lost the room as soon as they started. Yeah.
Well, I mean, does he really not like it though? I mean, you get tons of views. I mean, you could have anticipated it. You could have taken steps and just said, "Hey, we're going to go 2 minutes back and forth. Mics are going to be cut. If you interrupt the other person, then then I'm going to kick you out or something like that." So you could do it, but yeah, I'm not convinced that this wasn't the goal.
Yeah. Anyway, was a very interesting conversation. Was actually much more horrible than I remember it. The first time I just skimmed through it and I just went to the funny moments and I thought, hey, this is actually very, very enjoyable. But looking at it later on, I have a giant headache after listening to this. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I have
we should just do every show exactly like that.
Yeah.
Like every live stream, we should just. No, I mean Hijab will pick anything and then start complaining about it to derail a conversation. We should just do like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me quickly go through a few things here. Sankar said, Abu Hurairah said, Muslims would kill Jews until they hide behind a stone or a tree, which would say, "O Muslim servant of Allah, there's a Jew behind me. He's got his daughter's vibrator in his pocket." Shut up.
Got you again. He got you.
Shut up. Captain Golden Shower said, with a very nice profile picture here, "Listen here, Apostate Prophet, I will golden shower you. I will golden shower you.
I will
golden shower
your house. I will golden shower your dog. And only then will you see the true power of Islam."
Here that said Bukhari 2:3 that they will not come until the Muslims fight the leather straps. The leather strap will hide behind each anus and will say, "Oh, Muslims, there's an anus behind me. We are proud of that." Thank you.
Just so everyone knows, when if people are wondering what in the world's going on there's a famous hadith that we're making famous where Muhammad said the eyes are the leather strap of the anus, and we all find it hilarious, and so people keep bringing it up.
That's true. That is true. Raisin Bread said, Kenneth Owens invited anti-Israel person Norman Finkelstein in her podcast. The comment section of the video on YouTube has comments from Muslims who are very happy that Candy invited her.
Well, notice it's always the same. It's always the same method. It's always the same method. Do what we want. We heap praise on you. Oh, you're so great. It's so great. And the moment they disagree with you, they will turn on you. Look at Jordan Peterson, right? As long as he was, "Hey, let's have Mohammed Hijab on there. Yeah, you're so great. We really love you. You're such a good person, Jordan." The moment he said Hamas needs to be destroyed, He became like one of their top enemies.
Yeah, Candace Owens is a grifter, a very unreliable person.
What are you talking about, Candace? What are you talking about,
terrible-
Candace?
Terrible source of information. Norman Finkelstein is a revisionist historian on. I don't even know if he's a historian actually. He's a revisionist scholar on the whole Israel conflict, and as long as I have been aware of the Israel-Palestine conflict, when I was a child, I heard Norm Finkelstein over and over again, cited by people who want to criticize Israel and want to say free Palestine. The only person that they ever go to. And yeah, sure, of course, Kenneth Owens would invite him and have and have him validate the pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, anti-Zionist views. Yeah, not surprised here. Not surprised. Cliff Wilson said, yes, get Shmuley and Brown. Also, you're stuttering because she was 9 years old. The eyes of the luster of the anus. The sun does set in a muddy pool, and we are proud of that. This is very good, man. This is very, very good.
Powerful.
Here we can see that this is a long-time viewer. Gets everything right. Joshua Wooden said, helps woman. Then why in the last wrestling PPV in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, everyone dressed as they always do, except the female wrestlers. The only skin was their face. Modesty is good, but not forced. That's true. That's true.
Good point.
Except in a concert in during a concert in Riyadh recently, there was Iggy Azalea. She gave a concert and she was shaking her booty, not to be confused with shaky booty. There was a very interesting concert. Joshua Wooden said, Rabbi Shmuley knows nothing about Islam. Add that to your soundboard. Mojab said genocide. Then I said never genocide. This was a serious topic, but turned into a comedic platform and Mo chest thumping. Yeah, I would like to talk to Rabbi Shmuley more about Islam, just to. But he might also just want to be, diplomatic here. Joshua Woodard said that the metaphysical matter men say anything about Mo's Boom Boom Room. Eventually, David would play Alidawa and AP play Jordan Peterson. Also, anyone should play Daniel and use Daniel quotes. That's good.
It's okay for audio, but it's kind of hard it would be kind of hard for me to play Alidawa or for AP to play Jordan Peterson because we don't kind of look like them.
I look exactly like Jordan Peterson.
You look like his twin brother.
Yeah. Ayatollah Khamenei said Mimi Hijab just succeeded in winning AP a larger audience due to talking to Shmuley. Hilarious defeat for Hijab. Fozia said Israel dealing with Gaza, Hamas, and brilliant apologist influencer dealing with the likes of Hijab. Is that a proportional response? Yes, it is. It is absolutely. It's not 100-1 either, so it's good. It's good. Fly said Mohammed Hijab speaks Facebook news and his whole shtick is being loud and insufferable. It's impossible to have a rational conversation with him. Indeed. Cheryl R said Hamas is responsible for a vast majority of Palestinians killed since they wouldn't let Palestinians flee, shooting anyone who dared try, brainwashed the rest with propaganda like poor Farfour. It's true we have confirmed cases of Hamas shooting civilians who are trying to escape from Hamas-controlled northern Gazan territories. But yeah, it's all Israel's fault. Arab Inc. said IDF's ratio of militants to civilians is considered the best. In 2014 war, 2,200 Palestinians died, but 1,300 identified as militants by the IICC, from various funerals, announcements, photos, etc. Solid. One of the things that are a problem to me still are the current war. Hamas says that that 10,000 or 11,000 Palestinians died. But the thing is, nobody actually knows how many people died. It is just Hamas health ministry saying this. And the entire world is just relying on that right now. We don't actually know how many people died. And considering that they, the day that whole hospital parking lot explosion happened, Hamas came out and said they bombed the hospital, 500 people died. They said this within minutes. And it turns out it wasn't even a hospital explosion. It was a parking lot explosion, not caused by an Israeli airstrike. And we don't have names at all. Nobody knows how many people actually died during this whole war. We are just blindly trusting Hamas here. Well, I'm not.
Well, who else are you going to trust?
Yeah.
If you can't trust Hamas, who can you trust?
You're going to trust the sex shop. Michelle B said, your video says it started 10 hours ago. You two are the GOAT. Thanks, guys, for this review. It did start 10 hours ago.
Mm-hmm. We've been going 10 hours straight, like a boss.
Aviv Gur said, thank you. And by the way, thank you, Michelle. And thank you, Aviv. Thundering YG said, was Jeffrey Epstein a Muslim? Debates coming soon. Inshallah, he was. Destiny had some very funny words about that. Channel for you said, David Singh, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air against hijab. Yeah. I don't know why, how, and when, what.
This is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. I don't know.
The dehydrated pastor, you guys familiar with Yaron Avraham? He has an extremely rare and strange case. He's a Muslim Gazan that converted to Judaism. Not sure, maybe. Yaron Avraham. I know of quite some Israeli Arabs who are great defenders of Israel. I haven't heard of this person. Interesting. I'll check it out. Grand Moff Tarkin said, apologists used to say Islam wasn't evil back in the day. Now they say we're evil, but so are you. And if you're not, you should be. Yeah, that's the new tactic.
Pretty much an exact description, yeah.
Revola Rita said the Australian Socialist Party is currently in attendance at the pro-Palestinian in Melbourne, Australia, signing up people.
It is interesting what groups that totally contradict each other nevertheless find common ground right now.
Yeah. Hating the Jews. Farfour said, this wouldn't have happened if they had a pen pal. Okay. I don't know. Jordan Peterson, if he came into this conversation, he would have solved it immediately.
Mm-hmm. Pen pal-y.
How about you just, become pen pals? Yeah. How about you just write each other?
Sunnis, get a Shia pen pal-y.
How about no?
So then he said, whenever I close my leather strap, I see hijab with his shirt off. That's good. That's good.
Well, now you've got an edited picture.
Alhamdulillah. Whoa. Harry Catacletis made a super chat of $300.
Hey, good luck, Harry, because that goes right to AP. Oh.
Yeah. So, is that somebody you know?
No.
Oh, okay. Said Dr. David Wood, God bless you and your amazing family. Read as an inspiration. I hope this helps. I will forward this to David.
No.
But I would not normally, but this is specifically saying hope this helps.
I reject it. He sent it to you. He sent a message to me.
We can find
He sent money to you. He sent a message to me.
But he said hope this helps. So it looks like this is supposed to be monetary help to you.
He hopes it helps you, AP, have these discussions with me.
Harry, you need to clarify what's happening here. Otherwise, I will have to fight about this with David Wood, and we might get, I don't know, violent.
I will burn that money before I take it from you, AP.
Harry, please clarify it. Once you clarify it, I will act accordingly. But thank you so much. I very, very much appreciate it in any case, no matter where it goes. Strap-on pleasure machine said hijab W as always, you see.
See, what's weird is you get new viewers and they don't understand all these ongoing jokes. So this is about Daniel Hakikachu. We've talked about him, and he has this long thing about a strap-on pleasure machine, because this is the mentality of the guys we interact with regularly.
Yeah, because of the Dawa people and the weird things they say, all of the new people who come here are like, what in the world is going on in this channel?
Yeah.
Where did I land here?
Everything is about leather straps of the anus and strap-on pleasure machines. And what? I click on here, they're talking about vibrators. Guys, this is what they make us talk about. Oh, boy.
Maybe that's their strategy. They're trying to discredit the critics of Islam by making us talk about these things. That's very smart, actually, honestly. Robert Mitchell said, hijab arguing with a rabbi on Piers Morgan's show. I can't believe my leather strap. Yeah. AKS said, Normal Finkelstein said 10-7 warned every fiber of his being. This is the champion intellectual. Did he really say that?
I'd have to see that.
Did he really say that? I want to verify.
You don't need to look it up now. We can look it up later. That might be something worth discussing if he did say stuff like that.
If he really said that whatever. Okay, I'll check it later. So far, I'm still waiting for Harry to clarify. But yes, I think we're done. We're done. No more super chats. I can't read more super chats. Dehydrated Pie said, that's fine, guys. Harry can give the money to me. Okay. My TV said, Hamas killed Arab Muslims in Israel because they live in Kafir land. Yes. Amir said, God bless, Jesus is king. He made me say it. See. Like Abi Mills said, the video of Hamas killing Palestinians. Look for it. I can't post all of it. I retweeted it on my Twitter abundantly. But yeah, okay.
You wouldn't want to play something like that on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, wouldn't want to do that. St. Constantine the Great said, Yo, Peter, which y'all should set up a Streamlabs donation portal so you don't have to give a 30% cut to Cringe Tube. God bless you both. And then he made that signal, which I don't know what it is.
Tube.
At least I can't know what it is about. It's a signal between.
No, yeah. You guys keep.
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Keep letting in AP, the atheist. On,
I don't know. I didn't even see it.
Okay.
I didn't even see it. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. We will be live tomorrow on David's channel. And
I was thinking, because there are a couple of things I want to talk about. I think just because so many people requested it, I think we'll go through the Dillahunty rage quitting and actually watch what led up to it and declare our views on who was right and who was wrong there.
See, after this whole conversation with Mohammed Hijab repeatedly talking about dildos and vibrators, as soon as you said Dillahunty, I thought you were going to say something about dildos.
We're going to talk about... I almost said it. I almost modified his name.
Oh, boy. All right. And then we'll probably going to be live again throughout the week if David can. But I think we should continue this stuff. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
People are putting it in the chat. They figured it out. Nope. They figured out multiple variations of it. Okay.
Have a fantastic day, everybody. And as they always say, as one very wise man always likes to say,
stay away from Islam.